Nick Sills, National Football Show. Appreciate all coming aboard with us. Thank you for stepping in on the road to Super Bowl 57. Man, what a journey it's been this year for the Eagles. What a journey it's been for the league. This is some of the best football that I've seen in a couple of years, and the ratings dictate that. You know, coming out of a pandemic, the attendance was absolutely through the roof. Highest attendance for the National Football League in nearly 17 years. Ratings over the top. Both conference championship games getting over 50 million people watching it. You can't get any better than this. You just can't get any better than this, man. I mean, spectacular. By the way, we have another fun show here for you. I got projections on what free agency contracts and the length of contracts the Eagle free agents that are to be after the Super Bowl are going to be looking at, and what Bledsoe and the NFL wants to set for the market. Let's see how many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of the top 100 free agents that are on the Eagles. Okay? Out of the top 100, you have 9 of those guys, and they've got some of the projections. We're going to take a look at some of these contracts that they're going to be offered and take a look at whether or not the Eagles are going to take a look at that as well. Also, we're going to look at, obviously, at Super Bowl 57. We're going to look more at the Eagles intently, but I do want to start out by doing this, guys, okay? I do want to do this. You know that Nick Saban conversation we had yesterday? You know, people are sending me links about how Nick, after the fact, is happy for Jalen Hurts and said, hey, it's really awesome to see what he's been through. Nick fired him on national television. I don't give a shit what you tell me. SEC Player of the Year, 7,000 total yards. Great. He fired him on national television. These big-time coaches don't give a shit about your NFL career. Hey, Tone, check this out. You know Urban Liar? So Urban Liar throws Cam Newton off the Gator football team for a stupid laptop. And he kept crummy-ass Tim Tebow instead of Cam Newton. Who was the better player? Cam was an NFL MVP. Took his ass and his team to the Super Bowl. What else does Urban Liar do? Goes to Columbus, throws Joe Burrow out. Gets a job in Jacksonville, can't coach Trevor Lawrence. What makes you think these guys give a shit about whether or not these guys are going to turn out to be great pros? They don't care. That's why it was easy for him to go to Tua. That was my only point, dude. That was my only point on Meyer. And with Saban, these guys don't care. They lie to you and tell you they care. They got 17 five-star quarterbacks sitting on that Bama and Ohio State roster, and they're going to go to the next guy if they think the next guy can win. They're not going to be patient and develop somebody. They're not going to sit around and wait for Jalen Hurts. They're not going to put the extra time to coach Jalen Hurts. So that bullshit you're hearing with Nick Saban now about Hurts, they're trying to claim his ass. Hurts, he's a missionary. That's what he is. This guy's a mercenary. This guy he was like I am. He went to the Sooners after getting thrown out. I love how these college coaches, that's why they're college coaches and why Saban failed in the NFL, because he's a bullshit artist too. There's a difference right there between college and pro coaches. Bullshit artists are in the pros or in the college ranks. You can't bullshit a guy who's a man. It is a guy who gets paid. That's why those guys bombed. Saban and Meyer bombed just because of exactly what you're watching now with some of those stupid-ass videos of Nick Saban congratulating Jalen Hurts. What about when you fired his ass on national television for the entire world to see? Come on, man. Come on, man. You make it sound like these guys here sat around and developed Jalen Hurts at Alabama. That ain't true. That's a lie. They kicked his ass out. Now they're trying to claim his ass. It's like almost like Michigan. How many times they try to give that job to somebody else and not keep it to Tom Brady? How many times did they try giving that gig to, what was his name, Chad Henne? How many times they tried giving that to him, man? Shit, the head coach who took over for Bo hated the guy. Now he's a Michigan guy. Oh, okay. Okay? This guy sits around trying to tell you that. He threw, Urban Liar threw Joey B out. Come on, man. Give me a break. Yeah, I think he's a Sooner too. Saban was a big part of his maturity and tangible. Whatever. Jalen Hurts had intangibles and character. He had to have it with Saban. He didn't develop it. Intangibles like that are innate. I completely disagree, Kenzo. You don't grow character. You either have it or you don't. That's not something a coach can coach, character. You either have it when you're born or you don't. Plain and simple. That's not a coachable tangible. You're a young kid. You either have character or you don't. You either have character or you don't. Nick developed his character. That's a freaking lie. He had it 10 times before he showed up at Alabama. Come on, man. You think a guy who's been pushed around his entire... Yeah, you know what? I'll tell you where Nick Saban did give him a kick in the ass is when he fired his ass. That's what drove him more. Nick Saban is part of the reason Jalen Hurts is great in Philly because he got fired at Alabama. You either have it or you don't. Character is not something that you develop. You are that guy. You think Lloyd Carr developed Tom Brady's character? Oh, okay. Okay. Right? So, wait, let me get this right. So, Urban Meyer developed Joey B's character. Really? Or wait, better yet, I love Ed Ogeron, and you know that. You think Ed Ogeron developed Joey B's character? Guy who chased all them skirts around? Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure, man. Come on, man. You either got character in you or you don't. I don't give a shit. That's something you're born with. That's why most people, when they're evaluating the quarterback position, they can't get it right because they don't know the intangible character, because coaches have no idea about it. It's either in you or you don't have it. And most of the time, that's an intangible. When college scouts and pro scouts, they can't see it. That's why Jalen was a second rounder. They couldn't see it. Don't you get it? Brady was a sixth rounder. They couldn't see it. So they couldn't evaluate it. Turned out to be the two most important things for players like that. Come on, man. It's not something some coach sits around talking to you about character. Those are words. Actions are a character symbol, not words. Can I tell you the most ignorant thing you could ever have somebody tell you is a compliment, because it's usually a backhanded slap, and it's usually filled with lies. Remember that with compliments. Compliments usually have lies in them, and they're the window to a lie. Okay? You know when one's genuine. But how many compliments have you got with pats on the back and you knew they led to lies? It's the easiest way to a lie. Always remember what compliments bring. They bring that element in human nature, the lie. It's easier to lie to you with compliments. Oh, yeah, Jalen Hurts is, he's a Nick Saban going around telling everybody, oh, okay, Nick. That's not how you felt about him when you canned his ass in national television in a national championship game, then took his job away the next year. That's right, Walter. Look at Walter now. Walter gets it. Nick Saban is the reason people look at Jalen Hurts the way they look at him today. Tell me I'm wrong. The reason that people underestimate Jalen Hurts is because of Nick Saban. That's my point. Jalen's not Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, because of Nick Saban. Because of Nick Saban. Nick Saban is the person and the coach who created naysayers on Jalen Hurts. Look at Neil. Saban praises the crap out of him now. Oh, you better. Because he's the biggest screw-up in Alabama history. And it's under your watch. He goes on to win the Super Bowl MVP. Okay? Nick Saban fired on national television the Super Bowl MVP. That's quite a story. I wouldn't want that on my resume. I let a guy like that go, and he's the MVP in the Super Bowl. I would not want that on my resume. Hey, Alabama's got, well, not really. They only have one Super Bowl MVP. You could have had two, but you didn't want to coach his ass. Yeah, right? I mean, I love it. Look, Saban, you're going to see Nick Saban in Alabama doing every single PR commercial and every single show you could possibly, because he has to. It's the biggest F up in his coaching career. You might have let the Super Bowl MVP out of your program because you didn't want to sit around coaching him because you had other guys to worry about. But that's a college coach's mentality. They're not going to do that. Next guy up if you suck or you think one's better. That's what he did. Jalen wasn't playing horrible. Saban just went, we're going to go with Tua. Okay. Took the SEC Player of the Year right out of the game. Didn't even think twice about it. Now he's kissing his ass. Come on. You know what my wife would say? Hey, go F yourself. But he's not built like that. He's not built like that. Man, by the way, Philly 500. He'll join us. I'm going to get to these projections here in a second, but you're going to see a lot of Nick Saban over the next 2 weeks. Okay? Seeing where Jalen is today tells me that Nick doesn't care about quarterbacks or just didn't care about Jalen. A little of both. Now he cares about him. Because now he's a superstar. But get this. He's the best Bama quarterback now that has come out of that school under Nick Saban. And he had 2 other first-rounders. Those other guys were first-rounders. Shit, I think Tua was the 5th pick. Jalen was the 53rd pick. And now, dude, I'm telling you, the reason, do you guys agree? Tone, this is one for our boy. The reason that people look down on Jalen Hurts and don't think he's a quality elite quarterback is because of Nick Saban. Nick Saban is the guy when people go, what do you think of Hurts as an elite quarterback? No, because the greatest college football coach didn't think it. That's why. Nick started this. No one else. Who else started it? Who else started this? Who else started this? Kenzo. Look at Kenzo trying to tie into that. Now all of a sudden, because I'm bringing a point up about Jalen Hurts potentially winning the Super Bowl MVP, he thinks all I said about dual threat quarterbacks, nothing's changed, guy. Your dude's in the Super Bowl. He's played well. I never said that those dual threat quarterbacks don't play well. They don't last. I'm not going over that dumb shit again. I'm bored with it. I'm talking about what the kid's achieving. That's undeniable. But you'd rather have me sit here and make some bullshit up like some other guys in Philly. Not happening. Dude, whatever. I don't care what you say. Whatever. It's not a big deal. Always remember something what Richard Nixon said. If you think you really upset me, that would mean that you would think personally that I respect you. How could I? I don't respect you. So you can't upset me. There's no way. When someone talks shit to me like that and says dumb shit to me, I don't respect the comment, so that means I don't respect you, so you can't upset me. You have to always remember, when you want to upset someone, that person has to respect you. That's why I never comment on Twitter. Because I don't respect 98% of the people that say shit to me on Twitter. And for the record, I treat Twitter like a kindergarten sandbox now. If you understand that dynamic, that your Twitter page is the same as a kindergarten sandbox, you're going to be cool. You're not going to be upset with anything. Okay? No worries. All right. Let's get into this. And I got a boatload of topics here too. By the way, again, don't forget, Philly 500 at 4:30 Eastern time in hour number 2. Bob Sills, I said this to you the other day. Howie will use Jalen Hurts' postseason 2 games against him to keep the contract under control. Probably. With 18 free agents this offseason, could get ugly. I don't think Jalen's going to let Clutch get ugly with it. Dude, he loves being in Philly. Okay? What drove Hurts' value down was talking heads like Sileo. Oh, I see. So M. Reyes thinks that me talking Jalen down, instead of the coach that fired him at Alabama, is the reason that the value of Jalen Hurts coming out of college and people having the notion and the narrative around Jalen is because that's why Jalen went in a second and nobody in Philly liked to pick even. I see. Oh, so my words meant more than Saban's actions. Pretty solid take, M. Reyes. Pretty solid take. So Dan Sileo talking about Jalen Hurts supersedes anything that Nick Saban did to Hurts at Alabama. Got it. That's one for the ages. Dude, hey, seriously. Oh, okay. I got it. Whatever. All right. Before we get into the topics here, the 100 top free agents list came out. And wait till you see the projected contract offers potentially these players are going to get offered. Out of the top 100 free agents, the Eagles have 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, 9. The highest graded free agent is Javon Hargrave. Now listen, Kelsey is number 4. But do you guys see Kelsey leaving and playing anywhere else but Philly? Even at $9 million? Do you guys see him leaving and going anywhere? Man, I don't. I just don't. He's not going to be a free agent. He's playing his entire career in Philadelphia. So he'll sign a 1-year max deal at $10 million. They'll probably give him an extra $1 million. There's no chance. That's why I left him off the list. So in theory, there's 10 in the top 100, which is pretty outstanding. Okay? He'll never leave. He'll never leave. Okay. It's Javon Hargrave at 8. Here's what the projections are and what he'll be offered. And you know what? So far, the Eagles are right around the building. The Eagles have on the table right now for him 3 years, $51 million. Here's what the NFL is saying what will be the offer. 3 years, $55 million at 18.33 with $36 million guaranteed. Will the Eagles pay that for Javon Hargrave? 3 years, $55 million, 18.33 million, 36 total guarantee. Well, how we pay that? I'm going to highlight these, the ones that we all agree on. Do you think he pay? I think he pays this. I think he's been a stud. I think he's been underrated, actually. You know, I would have to say that Javon Hargrave might be the most underrated defensive tackle in the National Football League. Is that fair? He might be the most underrated tackle in the league. So I'm good with that. 3 years, $55 million, 18 point. Remember something. He makes 12.9 now. Okay? He makes 12.9 now. 36 guaranteed. Me too, man. I'm with you, Charles. I think you pay him. The second is James Bradberry. Here's what he's going to be offered. 2 years, $24 million, $12 million a year, 16.5 in guarantees. That's what he's going to be offered. 2-year contract, $24 million, $12 million. I thought it was going to be higher. I thought it was going to be up near the 17 number, which is the benchmark and tag for that position. James Bradberry. See, this is giving some light to me because I may have overprojected some of these salaries. Do we not agree? That's doable. 2 years, $24 million. You still got Hurts on a rookie contract. 2 years, $24 million. Gives you some latitude with Slay on the other side. Me too. Hey, Kenzo, I thought too that it was going to be closer to 20. I thought it was going to be like 18.4. That's, hey, Tone, isn't that what the tag is? On corners, 18.9. We're hearing, again, 2 years, $24 million, 12 a year, 16.5 in guarantees. Dude, that's doable. That's very doable. I'm good with that. I said, if you're going to tell me 2 years, $24 million, 12, I'm going to pay him. Now listen to this one. And by the way, Bradberry's the 14th rank free agent in the upcoming class. Number 24 is Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. For the record, that kid makes $836,000. Wait till I show you what his projections are here. 3 years, $34.5 million, $11.5 million per, with 23 guaranteed. This is kind of the blueprint of what all these guys are going to be projected to get in their offers. I know, DeSante, I thought, but see, he's being looked at as a safety, not a corner. Safeties are less. They've labeled him a safety. I mean, Chauncey Gardner, 3 years, 34.5, 11.5, at 23 guaranteed. Look, I think that's doable. That's doable. Now, if you put it all together, though, remember, Slay's at 17. Bradbury's now at 12. That's 28. Man, that's not unreasonable for three quality guys in your. I'm going to sign this guy. Dude, I think they're going to be able to bring back all the corners. And I label CJ as a corner. Got to tell you. Now, Peter, I think they're still going to move Slay as they get closer to the draft and draft a corner. But I'm signing Gardner Johnson. I'm signing Gardner Johnson because 11.5 per over 3 years, 23 guaranteed, 3 years, 34.5. Man, I'm in on that. I'm in on that. Cox's contract will be gone. That's correct. That's correct. Here's the one that I think we're all going to agree on. Kenzo, Sills, do you find it odd that Howie didn't sign anyone midseason? Kenzo, I think he was waiting to see player production first. As a matter of fact, Kenzo, I would even make this point to you. Boy, I'll tell you what, it was because he never even made Miles an offer or Sayamalo an offer or any of these other guys an offer. He never made any of them an offer, did he? I think the quarterback situation, I think they got to be really smart here with this. Ray, I'm going to come to – I got Brandon Graham on this list, Ray. I'll tell you, and then you tell – Ray, you're going to tell me. The 27th highest rated free agent for the Eagles is TJ Edwards. Now, you tell me. He's going to be offered in the open market 3 years, 40.5, 13.5 per with 25 guaranteed. Howie's not doing that. Howie's not signing TJ Edwards for 3 years. You think he's going to pay a linebacker 13.5? Here, let's put this in the historical context on Howie and how he does business. Tell me a linebacker in Howie's time that he's been in Philly that he's paid that kind of contract to. And tell me if has there been linebackers as good as TJ in Philly? You guys will help me here with this. 3 years, 40.5, 13.5 per, and 25 guaranteed. Ron goes, we don't pay linebackers. I think that's correct. There's no way Howie Roseman is paying TJ Edwards $13.5 million. He's going to get that. He's going to get that. Maybe Trotter. Yeah, for sure Trotter. Jeremiah Trotter was a running brick. And that's with respect. He hit you like a brick. Okay? Jeremiah Trotter was a phenomenal ball player. Phenomenal. I think his kid plays in college ball somewhere. Is he Florida? His kid plays somewhere, right? Maybe it's a Southeastern. Yeah, it's a Southeastern Conference team. I thought his kid played somewhere. They're never going to sign TJ Edwards to 13. TJ Edwards is not going to take a gargantuan pay cut to come back and play in Philly. Kids at Clemson, that's it. Thanks, Chris. So we agree. Howie's not paying. His value on the street is 3 years, 40.5 at 13.5 with 25 guaranteed. No way Philadelphia pays that. No way. And as good as he is, that's a sad loss. And that's a big loss. TJ Edwards is not a talent loss. I mean, they're not getting rid of him because he doesn't have talent. They're getting rid of him because they got to spread the money around correctly here. Wait till you hear this. The 28th highest ranked free agent for the Eagles, or in the NFL from the Eagles, is Isaac Seumalo. 3 years, $33 million. Remember something, he makes $3 million a year. Projected at $11 million per year with 22 guaranteed. You're not paying him because this is what you would have. Your left tackle's making $16 million. Your right tackle's making $18 million. Your center's making $10 million. Your right guard is going to make $12 million almost. Dude, you got a lot of money in that O-line and no money in your quarterback yet. I'm with you, Sway. I think Seumalo had a spectacular championship game. And quite frankly, I think he had a spectacular Giants game. He's played so well. I mean, I'll tell you this, of all the offensive linemen that the Eagles have on the team, the guy who's playing the third best is Seumalo. I think Jordan's picking his game up, and I think Jordan's actually played well in the Giant playoff game, and also I thought he played exceptionally well in the San Francisco game. I do. And get this, dude, Seumalo's 27 years old. You gonna let him walk? That's a lot of money, though, for a right guard. That's a tough decision for them. Dude, he's been a stud, man. We got to circle him. So we've circled TJ Edwards. I'm not going to kick anyone off the team. I'm going to circle guys to keep an eye on in the offseason for us, okay? Charles, I think he's worth it too. But again, there's a salary cap. It only went up $16 million. You got to put all this stuff in your mind here now. And believe me, I think a lot of this is going to also dictate how well they play in the Super Bowl. This is pretty cool. This is a lot of respect. Of the top 100 free agents that will be offered contracts, Brandon Graham, 1 year, $4.5 million. For the record, he's at $14.5 now. It would be a $10 million pay cut. But if he went into the open market, this is not the Eagles offering him that. So the Eagles, it's not going to be insulting to offer him 4.5. You see, agents get the same sheet I do. I actually got this from an agent. You want me to tell you who I got it from? I got it from Drew Rosenhaus. Okay? I got it for one of Drew Rosenhaus's guys. One of them's a Kane. I guess if you looked at his ledger, you could probably figure it out. This is the numbers Drew Rosenhaus is going off of. I want to make sure I keep it down because there's other stuff on here that they told me. Okay? Would you bring Graham back? Graham's only going to get 4 or 5 in the open market. Do you let him go out there or do you go, Brandon, here's $4.5 million. We'd love to have you back. I'd like to have him back. At that price, I'm good with that. He's 35, right? I'd love to. When you want Brandon Graham back at 4 or 5 instead of 14.5, Kenzo, I'm with you. Ryan, I'm with you, man. Bring him back. That's not going to kill him. Dude, you get another 10-sack year out of a 37, 36-year-old guy. Plus, he's a staple on your team. Dude, he's worth the value of that. I'm totally – and now I give him incentives. All guaranteed, though. 69 is now the number of the top 100 free agents. The Eagles had the 69th rated free agent. His name is Miles Sanders. Here's the numbers. 3 years, 22.5, 14.5 guaranteed, which rounds out to about 7.5 per. Does Howie pay Miles Sanders 7.5? He makes 2.4 now. Does he pay that for a Pro Bowl running back? Miles will get this. 7.5, 3 years, 22.5. You might even get a team to panic and go 3 years, 25.5. 14.5 guaranteed will be the contract that Miles Sanders will be offered. A lot of cap is only $7 million next year. I would re-sign Seumalo. Kelsey is. I don't want Kelsey to retire. I want Kelsey back, man. Dude, I think Kelsey played better this year than he did a year ago. I don't want Kelsey gone, dude. Absolutely not. I don't want Kelsey gone. He's the best center in the game. I don't give a shit if he wins a Super Bowl. I don't want him to go. He's only 25. I'm not doing that for sure. He said he wants to come back. I'm sure. Dank, I would love to have him back. Dank, help me out here. Guys, help me out. Did they play Shady and Brian Westbrook big money when they were here? Have they ever paid that position big money? Haven't they done that shit by committee? Even the 17 team, right? Adai and like Garrett Blunt. All those guys were like, right? Those guys were like, hire a guy, right? And like, did they pay Shady McCoy big money? Then Chip traded him to Buffalo. 2020 goes 7.5 is not bad. 2020, I agree. I don't think 7.5's bad either. However, Eagles paid Shady 5 years, 45 in 2012. Okay. Great reference, Tone. Miles Sanders ain't Shady McCoy, though. And that's kind of what that contract is. They're not paying him $7.5 million. They may ask him to come down and on that number, but he'll get that in the open market. Yeah, you're not. Shady was $9 million. This is 7.5. How many people think the Eagles will offer Miles Sanders 3 years, 22.5, 14.5 guaranteed? I'm listening to you because $5 million or let him go. But know this, you're not getting Josh Jacobs for 7.5. Josh Jacobs is like the fourth highest rated guy, and they've got his I should get them all and read all. Lamar's obviously number one. But again, most of those guys are re-signing with the current team they're on. Okay? Shady got $10 million. He did. Draft a back. With that old line, wait a minute. If I'm not bringing Miles back, I'm bringing Seumalo then back. Hey, it's a great comment. If you had to bring one back if you had to bring back Miles Sanders or Isaac Seumalo, who are you bringing back? Who are you bringing back? Brian Westbrook got 5 years, $25 million, average $5 million. With inflation and shit, it's probably around. That's underpaid, in my opinion. You guys are so smart. Seumalo and then draft the back. I think Sanders goes, Seumalo stays. That's how I would play it too on the offensive side. I don't want to let Isaac Seumalo go. He's too young, man. And he's getting better. Dude, he's getting better, man. that line next year is going. And by the way, I think Jordan Mailata is going to go to the. I'm going to make a prediction to you. I think that Mailata goes to the Pro Bowl next year. You may have both tackles, the all-pro tackles next year. I think he's played the entire season injured when he went for that ball early in the season. I'm a huge fan of Jordan Mailata. There's a 6-year difference between Westbrook and Shady's contract. Inflation may impact that. Yeah. But listen what we're talking about. Westbrook and Shady McCoy and then Miles Sanders. I think there's a drop-off there. I don't think Miles Sanders is as good as those guys. You know why? Those guys were way more consistent, and I feel good about giving a guy $7-8 million. That's going to give me 1,200 yards every year. I'm not sure this guy could give me 12 games every year. That's my problem with Miles. This is like a 1 year. This is the most that he's produced in 1 year since he came out of Penn State. I have a problem paying that because he's not been consistent. Okay? So we're going to circle him. Yeah, Chip screwed Shady up by sending him to Buffalo. You imagine Shady McCoy running in this 2022 offense, how Shady would look? Here's an interesting one. Kaiser White. Not as much as you think. 2 years. And by the way, he's the 83rd highest rated free agent. GT, before you say gone, hang on. 2 years, $8 million, $4 million per, 4.75 guaranteed. He'll be offered. You don't want to bring this guy back for $4 million bucks? Shit, you're paying him one something now. I don't think that's a lot of money. I would keep him. He's honestly can't cover. Hey, I'll tell you something. Kaiser White's bald since he's picked his game up since the Saints game. He's played really well. He's played really well. Okay? He's $4 million bucks. Remember, cap's up a little. I get it. I'm keeping White to pair with Dean. I'd keep TJ. Yeah, but TJ's $13.5 million. Howie's not paying. I know what you want to do, but watch this. Howie Roseman will sign Kaiser White for $4 million. You're missing the point here, my friend. Keeping TJ, of course, but TJ's $13.5, and the Eagles are not paying $13.5 million a year over 3 years at $40.5 million on a 3-year contract with $25 million guaranteed. They are not doing that with him. I know you, so would I, but that's not how the game plays. That's not how this game is played. Okay? I know, me too. Hey, I would love to keep Miles. Miles isn't sticking around for $7.5 million bucks. Sileo, how much would Quinn get? He's not in the top 100 free agents. I'm sorry. Okay. Hey, by the way, just for the record, I thought these numbers would be higher. They're lower. And I mean across the board. The Eagles have the 95th out of 100 top NFL free agents. And his name is Marcus Epps. Marcus Epps will be offered 2 years, 13.5 6.75 per with 7.5 guaranteed. You're not keeping him. Sad to say, but you're not. Here's why. You got guys over here wanting to keep TJ Edwards at 13.5, signed Bradbury for 12 a year, signed Gardner Johnson for 11 a year, TJ for 13.5 a year. Now you want to turn around and put $7 million on Epps, and you got a $17 million corner in Slay, and you got a $15 million edge rusher in Hassan Reddick. Doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. Even with these numbers being down or below what I thought they were going to be market value. Okay? You think Howie signs Marcus Epps 2 years, 13.5 at 6.75 per with $7.5 million in guarantees. I think Marcus Epps, and I said it from the beginning at the start of the year, I think he's going to be a surprise and you should give him his chance. And he got his chance and he's a good ball player. Eagles will gladly let Epps walk. Reed Blankenship has showed enough promise to let him compete for a starting job next year. He would basically take the same role that Epps had this year because Epps was given the opportunity. And now that Epps' contract is up, that's great thinking. That's correct. Okay? So, to go down the line again, just to recap this thing here, Javon Hargrave, 3 years, $55 million. There's a deal on the table, I'm told, from Tracy Rocker for 3 years, $51 million from the Eagles so far. Howie's trying to squeeze every single nickel he possibly can out of this. That roughly comes out to $18.3 million per year with $36 million guaranteed. Javon Hargrave is going to be the biggest free agent that you're going to sign that's on your current roster right now. That is the number. He is the 8th ranked free agent. You don't get defensive, and he's been great. Bradbury is 14th, 2 years, $24 million. I don't know why there's not a third year on this. I would have thought that there would have been a third year on this, but I'm only seeing 2 years, $24 million, and 16.5 guaranteed at $12 million a year. If that's the case, I'm bringing Bradbury back at $12 million. I don't know if I can do it 18 million, but at 12 million, I think that's a steal. I think that's a steal. Gardner Johnson, look at the raise he gets from $830,000, 24th on the list. 3 years, 34.5, 11.5. The Eagles get a break here because he's a safety. 23 guaranteed. Get this, he's going to get, because it's an extra year on the contract. It's 3 years instead of 2. Bradbury's getting 16.5 in guarantees. Gardner's going to get around $23 to $25 million in guarantees. I got it, okay? I got it. Edwards is the one that looks preposterous. 3 years, 40.5, 13.5 a year. You're never going to give him that. They're never going to go near that. They're going to let him walk out the building. Sad, but they're going to let him. And he'll get that money. You know, he'll go to a place like Chicago. Chicago sign him. Okay? The Rams might sign him. They need linebackers badly. You might want to stay in the NFC if I were him because he's not a great cover guy. So I'd want to stay in the NFC. I might go to the South, Carolina. Might pay him the money. David Tepper's pretty good. They're going to be looking for linebackers. That defense is not that bad down in Carolina. And I think Carolina could probably steal that division. Then we're the Saints next year. I don't know what the Bucs are going to do at quarterback. Yeah, Real, that's a good point. Hey, watch this. Was there a wow moment where you've ever seen TJ Edwards really make a wow play? He's one of those guys who really and does a great job just for the entire game. In a post-game interview, CJ called himself one of the best safeties in the league. The Eagles can use that soundbite to counter him trying to get top-tier cornerback money. You know what, though, Tone? he could say all he wants, and I agree, and they'll probably use that. But his agent's going to walk in there and go like this. Remember something. Remember what he said. His agent, when they made that move 10 days before they brought him to Philadelphia, what did he say? I'm playing this slot safety position because there's a need here that the Eagles asked me. So I'm going to move positions. That's not his natural position. So if there was a pre-trade kind of conversation with that, and I don't know. I have no information on that. But if there was any conversation on that, I would sit here and go like this. Well, I'm going to hold their feet to the fire too. You feel me, Tone? I like the idea of trading Slay. If we can draft Devon Witherspoon, I love that kid from Illinois. Marky Dan, I love that guy. That guy is a really fine ball player. Phillip Clark, Emmanuel Forbes, who learned under Bradbury, will just be as great. Yeah, probably. Remember something too. Marky, I think the rest of the NFC is still tumbling. I only see the San Francisco 49ers with a roster. The rest of those rosters in the NFC in 2023, really? Who? What rosters are near the Eagles? Niners and who? Rams? No. Bucks? Not really. Who? The Giants? Probably get better. They got a lot of cap room. Who else? Dallas? Absolutely not. Dallas will be worse next year. So the Eagles could look at it like this. Hey, maybe we're not the same back there in the secondary, but does anybody – now you're going to be playing a pretty good list of quarterbacks. But remember something. Remember this. This is the most important thing that I forgot to tell you guys. You're not building your team for the schedule. You're building your team to win the East. Right? Guys, am I right? You're building your roster to first win the East. And once you've accomplished that, everyone's looking up at you. Then you continue to strengthen your roster. You don't build your roster to your schedule. You build it to your division. You want to own your division. See, that's Jerry Jones. You know, I tried telling Stephen Jones this. Stephen, it's not about winning the Super Bowl. It's about winning your division first. You win the division first, you're halfway up the mountain. But you see the Cowboys reach for the mountain all the time, overpay, what happens? They crash and burn. Howie, his foundation is built on winning the East. You win the East first. You win the East first, then get this. You win the East, everything falls in line. That's why they've been patient. You see, the Eagles don't build teams to win Super Bowls. They build it to win their division. Let the NFL fall apart. Rams, Packers, Bucks, Saints. Dude, the Eagles have been rising through free agency and through picks and winning the East. Not building it to try to win the Super Bowl every year. The Super Bowl is a collateral result of winning the East. Own the East, you own the league. Why is that? Giants have money. Cowboys have money. Washington has money. You do it right, and you win the East. Why do you think every single team in that division is the only division in the NFL that every team has a Super Bowl? It's the toughest division to repeat in as champions, isn't it? How many years in a row has it been where we've seen a football team from the East, a two-time winner back-to-back? 20 years? There's a reason for that. There's a reason. Detroit, I agree. I think Detroit's on the rise. Okay? Look at that. William, 2003, 20 years since back-to-back champions in the NFC East. 20 years. There's no dynasties in the East. None. You win your division. You build your team. That's why when everybody, hey, guys, know this. Tone, think about this. You know, every year when people take that schedule out, what do you think Howie builds his team to win those games on the upcoming schedules? First off, you really don't know, but you do know what? Who you're playing in the East every year. You really don't have an idea who you're playing out of conference, and who you're out of conference. You kind of got an idea, but you know you're playing the Giants every year. You know you're playing the Cowboys every year. That's the certainty when you build your roster. The biggest problems you see when people are drafting, this is why I take drafting and I look at building a football team a lot different than other people do. It's not about winning the Super Bowl. That's a collateral result of good selections, great hiring of coaches, not missing on your assistant coaches. All of that has to fall in line, and it did this year for the Eagles. Coaches right. Coordinators have performed. Free agents have performed. All of that fell in. Dream team year, did it? The Philadelphia Eagles have two examples of success and failure on bringing free agents in. The Nnamdi Asomugha crew and the Hassan Reddick crew. Hassan and I know that Asomugha was a trade. I get it. I know the Raiders know. I get it. But you get my point. New faces. Right? Frank Reich is going to build Carolina the same way Howie Roseman and Joe Banner built the Eagles. Free agency, drafting right, not overpaying, and not overextending. Okay? Always remember that, guys. See, people don't educate a lot of people on how to build a roster and how to build a team. You don't build a team to beat the 49ers. You don't build a team to beat the Bucks. The most important people the Bucks, it's important. It's an NFC team, but you got to beat the Giants. You got to beat the Cowboys. Those are the premier games you have to win. Look, so someone brought up, hey, Sills, the Chiefs lost to the Colts. So what? As long as they didn't lose to a team in the West. You actually see a team in the West that's going to threaten Kansas City over the next 3 years? Maybe the Chargers. Raiders aren't. Right? Denver, we'll see what Sean Payton does. Right? Every team. Like, I'll tell you, can I tell you, I had a great conversation last night with Rick Spielman, who's an executive with the Lions, and he's a dear friend of mine. He goes like this: we got to win the North, man. We got to win the North. It's funny. I always hear him and John Lynch talking about, we got to win the West. Got to win the West. And I started thinking about, after I talked to John Lynch and Chris Spielman, both those guys were just talking about winning their divisions. Howie's got to have that mindset as well. It's about winning the division. It's not about beating San Francisco or Minnesota. And as it turned out, the better division in the NFC was the East. Well, look at what they did with the other NFC teams across the schedule. Win your division. Build your team to win the division first. The Super Bowl will come. That's why they're in their second Super Bowl in 5 years. Okay? It's because of that. It's because of the way they've built the team. That's why when you look down here, is TJ Edwards going to be a major part of us continuing to stay ahead? Here, watch this. The biggest problem that the Dolphins and the Patriots have right now is what? What do you think the biggest problem with those two teams are? What do you think the biggest problem with those two teams? I'll take you out of your division. Patriots and Mac Jones. What's their biggest problem right now? What's their biggest problem? Tone goes, they paid the wrong people. What's the biggest problem? I'll show you how you can always use this from now on. There you go, Chris. Scott, you're right there. Josh Allen. Omar, close. Josh Allen. You don't have a quarterback in that division that can beat him. You don't have a quarterback that can compete with him. You can't beat him. How many division titles have they won in a row now? Is it 3? Mac Jones ain't competing with him. Why do you think they hired Bill O'Brien? Why was that? Well, Bill O'Brien was his OC at Alabama. They probably overpaid to get Bill O'Brien back in New England. Okay? Because they gotta make Mac Jones work. He's a first-round pick. Belichick hasn't won a playoff game in 4 years. 4 years he hasn't won a playoff game since Brady left. Look at that. The Patriots haven't won a playoff game since Tom Brady left. It's 4 years ago. I mean, hey, Bill's got the cement resume. Nothing's changing. But, boy, he sure looks like Cleveland Browns Bill Belichick right now. Those dumbass, quirky-ass decisions on coordinators. He had an influence on play calling offensively. Since when is this guy an offensive guy? I mean, I'm going to tell you what happened to Belichick. Bill started doing things he wasn't good at. Always remember this. You want to make yourself thinner and take your talents away from you? Start doing shit you don't know what you're doing. Then you're going to look dumb. Stick to what you know. If you're a good organizer, hire great coaches. If you're great on defense, hire a great offensive coordinator. And then work with them. Tell them what you want. This is what I want the identity to be. It could still be in your image. But a lot of these coaches don't do that. Look at Belichick. He's in the coaching with the offense, the defense. He thinned himself out. Now that's why he hasn't won in 4 years. Scott goes, Bill's a great situational coach. On defense, how can you say that when they've been 500, barely, in 4 years and they haven't won a playoff game in 4? I mean, all right, I want to get to some topics, and then we got Philly 500 coming up at 4:30 Eastern. Please hit the like button, hour 2. Keep it here on the National Football Show.
When it comes to the fight against insurance companies, large corporations, and the healthcare industry, injured victims are always the underdog. But that doesn't worry us. At Messa & Associates, we're an injury law firm from Philadelphia, and we come to fight. Our clients know that they've got representation with a chip on its shoulder, and it's the same chip that makes Philly the toughest city in the country. Call 215-568-3500 or visit us online at messalaw.com. Messa & Associates, the toughest injury firm in Philadelphia.
Go for the beers, go for the cheers, go for the hit and the hits, go for the scene, go for the screens, go for the gallery, go for the win, go to Ocean.
Jeff D'Ambrosio doesn't need a special event to appreciate his customers. Jeff shows his appreciation to them every day of the year. Jeff makes sure to stock more new inventory than anyone and guarantees prices and payments that nobody can beat. There are so many reasons that thousands of customers know Jeff is the easy, friendly place to do business. More for their trades. No judgment zone for credit issues. The best, most reliable service department in the country. That's why I like Jeff, and I know you will too. Jeff will satisfy you every day. Jeff D'Ambrosio, Destination Downingtown, Owner Appreciation Event.
Weather forecasting is a team game.
We rely on each other every day, updating the models and passing along new critical information.
We have a team of 5 experienced meteorologists and a specialized weather producer, Paul. Say hi, Paul.
Sometimes what I see in the model, Cecily could see something different.
That's when we come together as a team to make our most accurate prediction.
And all of this backed by more than 100 AccuWeather scientists. It's a team game.
And we have the best teams in town.
Game Show with Seth Joyner.
I knew that they had a running game.
Derek Gunn.
He has put in the effort.
Devin Caney.
Had we not won the Super Bowl, what would we be saying?
And Mike Missinelli.
Well, you know who Philly is.
Post game, now streaming on the 6ABC family of apps.
National Football Show. Appreciate you guys coming aboard. Well, we now have the Alabama Crimson Tide fan base in an uproar right now, and my Twitter page is blowing up, or my, as I would like to say, my kindergarten sandbox. What do you mean Nick loves him? What? You talk about delusional. How do you call somebody and tell somebody I love you and you get a divorce from them, and after the fact you tell them, hey, I always loved him? What a lie. What an absolute lie. Hey, Eagle fans are just defending the kid from donkeys like me. I get it. This is an out-and-out denial. Jalen Hurts was it. I thought about that for a second. And I'm going to tell you a little story here and why it goes and it hurts. My junior year, I was head to head with this guy called Derwin Jones, and he was a 3-year starter there, and I was a transfer. But he was a local kid, and I was better. He gets hurt. I never look back. The national championship game comes up. I look in the program. I see Jerome Brown, Dan Sileo, and under my name, I see Derwin. I went to Butch Davis, and I said to Jimmy, what's this? I had 100 tackles. I was an All-American. No, it's a 3-man rotation. I'm like, I went to bed that night thinking, and then sure enough, as the game started, you're not going to believe this. As the game started, Butch goes, okay. I had a 15-yard sack on the first play. I walked off the freaking field. I looked at him. He goes, don't start. You took me. If you would have took me out of that national championship game, you would have lost me. I played every down. Nothing was, but there was something. Because he was a local kid, and there was a couple kids at the high school they want. And I was like, they swore to me that wasn't the truth. But I saw the name, and it made me think. Can you imagine being yanked out of a national championship game at halftime and your coach going, we're not going anywhere right now, so we're going to make a quarterback change and go to Tua. And then on February 2nd, 2023, you're in love with Hurts? It's a freaking lie. It's a lie. And Bama people are like, he had 7,000 yards. He was the SEC player. I know. I know. Charles. Hey. I want to show you guys something. Damn, Tone, I should have sent this to you, dude. I should have sent this to you. I'll move on here, and don't forget, Philly 500, there was a mural of your eagle sent to me. You guys are going to love this. My friend who's in Brooksville. This was yesterday. Look at this. They made a mural in Brooksville for Jerome. On my Twitter page, Seth goes, oh my God, that's beautiful. It's a mural hanging in his hometown that they dedicated yesterday. Look at this. Let me read it to you. I'm gonna text Tone this. I want you guys to see this. This you Eagle guys and Canes guys. Tim Jenkins, his hometown best friend, he texted me this. Okay, I got to get this to you guys. Let me get this to you. I gotta read this thing here. You guys are gonna love this. And this thing here, here, let me get this. Okay. Messages. Okay. I want to send it. I want you guys to see this. Oh my God, that's right, Philly 500. He loves him too. 617. Oops. Okay. Tell me if you got it, brother. I'm going to read it to you, though. Wednesday, February 1st. Commissioned by Brooksville Main Street. Painted by Lenima Matthews. Hosted by the city of Brooksville. Welcome, Natalie, the mayor, Blake Bell. They dedicated this mural of Jerome yesterday. Tried sending it to the Eagles, but of course, here it is right here, guys. That's Tim Jenkins to the left there. That's Jerome's childhood friend. And look at that. I asked him to take a couple pictures for me, and I'm going to put that as my screensaver. God. Yeah, I forgot I had to tell you guys. In honor of the Eagles going to the Super Bowl, Brooksville has honored your Jerome Brown. How good was he? Charles, I saw him single-handedly destroy Oklahoma. I've never seen a game like anybody play anything like that. I've never in my life. We go into, I got a great picture of that. If you guys want it, would you guys indulge me here a little bit? This is about Jerome, not me. Let's see. Sileo Brown, Sooners. Just indulge me here a little, please. Photo. Oh man, I got a good one somewhere of me and him. Just like at Memorial Field going after, what was that quarterback's name? God, he could run around like a crazy. What was that quarterback's name? What was that quarterback's name they had at Oklahoma? Oh, here it is. There's Jerome and myself. Those were great days, man. Those were great times. That was really awesome of them to do that. Right. And I sent it to the Eagles, of course, Big Sills. The city of Brooksville sent it to me to send to the Eagles. And I'm like, you guys should have did this yourselves. They would have done it. Okay. Oh, yeah. No, we crushed Bosworth. We beat him 28-7, 28-14 there, broke Aikman's leg. What was that quarterback's name? God, he was really good, though, man. He was hard to catch. And then the next year, we crushed him at UM. What was that quarterback's name? Jamal Holloway. Very good, Drew. Jamal Holloway. Okay. You all sound dirty. Breaking leg. Well, we weren't the kindest guys. That's for sure, man. We broke Miami broke Aikman's leg in Norman. Yeah. Then Aikman transferred to UCLA. He's from Oklahoma. Guess you're younger than a maniac. Don't bring up what I did as a kid to what I am now. Okay? The guy I am today is not the guy I was then. I was not very nice. Well, I was. I don't want to, let me move on here. All right. Let me ask you guys this question. How would you attack Kansas City? Drew goes, I was a kid. Y'all broke my heart. Hey, wait a minute, Drew. See this guy, Leroy Selman? Before I move on here, I got to show you guys this. Drew. That's my letter of intent to go to Oklahoma. Congratulations on your decision to attend the University of Oklahoma and becoming part of the winningest program in the nation. You are joining a football program that has a tradition, the pageantry, and the winning. Look what that says on it, too. It says 1985 up there in the corner. This was my national. Jimmy convinced me not to take it. And Barry Switzer let me out of my scholarship, and I went to Miami. I was offered to go to OU, and I went, and I'm going to tell you this. The reason I didn't go to OU is because they had Tony Casillas, and they played a nose guard, and I'm like, man, there's only one of them dudes. Shit, I know I could play next to Jerome, right? Dude, I was so close. I had signed in that. I was ready to go, man. I was ready to go to – look at that. Oh, my God. Here's my old address. My aunt's going to see this. Here's my old address. Stamford, Connecticut. 67 Sylvan Road. July 25th, 1990. See that? Congratulations on your decision to attend the winningest program. I was so close to going there, man. I really liked Barry. I really liked Switzer. Charles, what'd you think? I had one offer, man? Dude, I had like 15 offers. I could have went anywhere I want. I could have played anywhere I wanted in the country. Anywhere. I could have played anywhere. I wanted to go to Ohio State, but then I met old Bruce. No. First two places I wanted to play because I went to a Catholic school. I wanted to play at Notre Dame. I met Jerry Fouts and went, that ain't happening. I'm not. Hey, and by the way, Coach Fouts, to this day, he apologizes for how he treated me and how I treated him, and I apologize too on how I treated him because I didn't treat him very well. I got there, man. He wanted me to jump up and touch the rim, and I could slam a basketball back then. And I was like this. Oh, not a basketball because I couldn't grip. Like a Nerf ball, I could slam a Nerf ball. So I came here not to play for Digger Phelps. I came here to play Notre Dame. He goes, well, you may not play to your senior year. I'm like, I'm out. I go, you could put my ass back on the effing bus. I got back, the sisters almost kicked my ass. I'm not kidding, man. You told the Notre Dame people to kiss your ass? I said, yeah. Sills, I thought you played for Bud Wilkinson. Funny, William. And, hey, dude, it wasn't good. And then after we beat the piss out of Notre Dame 58-7, I got back the nuns back at my high school were like, you beat God's team. I said, they're not God's team. They're not God's team. He goes, but you guys ran the score up on them. I'm like, well, they suck. And one of the newspaper guys go, didn't you feel bad beating Notre Dame up like that in Jerry Fouts' final game? I go, touchdown Jesus took a knee. I got crushed in the media for that. I got crushed in the media. You know what's funny, Yale? I asked Bob Gullick about Rudy. He goes, I don't remember him on the team. That whole thing about carrying him off the team, off the field, Joe Montana and everyone goes, I don't remember him. I don't remember any of that shit. I don't mean to ruin the movie for you guys, but Bob Gullick was on that team, and Bob goes like this, Rudy who? Oh, man. Oh, my God. He's like, I go, Bob, do you remember Rudy? He goes like this. I know. I didn't know we had a guy on the team named Rudy. I didn't even know I knew anybody named Rudy. Oh. You wound up with Jerome. What could be better? Nothing. Joe Montana even goes, who's Rudy? And Joe doesn't rip anybody. He doesn't rip anybody, man. He's like, Rudy who? Oh, dude. Hey, Manster. Seriously, anybody that was on that Rudy team, they all went, there was a walk-on guy he was very aggravating. And all the players were aggravated by him. So they kind of goofed on it I hate ruining the movie for some people. Because every time I tell the story, all the Notre Dame guys that I know that played on that team, they were a little before my time. Okay, because Joe played a couple of years, obviously, before me. And so did Bob. But Bob's one of my best friends. Bob Gullick was a producer at Fox Sports Radio, and my wife even worked for him. My wife and Bob are dear friends. And Bob's like, I don't remember Rudy. And Bob was the captain. Dude, that movie's full of shit. I mean, there was kind of something like that, they said. This guy made his situation, which is cool, if you think about it. He made his college experience into a movie. I guess so. I guess that's cool. I mean, not everybody's a starter. Hey, By the way, that's Warren Sapp's big dig at The Rock. I'm not supposed to say, look, we're getting The Rock on. I know I've been saying it for over a year, but he wants to do it around the start of the XFL, which is in like the end of February. He's coming on. But you know what Warren Sapp does? Sapp rips him on. Ask Dewey. Ask The Rock if he ever started it down at Miami. He didn't. And dude, he was a good player. He was a good player, but he never started. He never started it down at Miami. And so Warren's always gives him the shit about it and gives him the business. He's like, "Oh yeah, Dewey was a good player, good backup." Oh, I'm like, "Don't go. Why do you go there?" I go, "Rock is the most famous guy like in the world, and you're ripping the guy." I'm not ripping him. Dude, when you say that he was a backup, I mean, oh, man. All these people I know, it's crazy. Crazy. Philly 500 is going to join us in a couple minutes. Very good. All right. Hey, real quick here, man. Attacking the Chiefs. Good thing The Rock acknowledges that he sucked. He didn't suck. Tone, don't catch me. Don't do that, Tone. Don't do that because I take heat because I defend him. He's my Rock and I are boys, man. We're good. Rock didn't suck. I don't know why I can't look at you when I'm saying that. Watch this, Rock. The Rock didn't suck. Hey, you guys will now always know. I just showed you one of my mannerisms. If I'm going to lie, I can't look you in the face. Hey, The Rock didn't suck, okay? Just know that. Yeah. He is a cool dude, man. All right, let me get out of that before I get in more trouble here. All right. Run the ball, right? Joseph, I don't know. Joseph, what's this? I can't even look Joseph in the face. I don't know. Oh, man. Cue ball, thank you, brother. Oh, Kevin Hart? Dude, Kevin Hart looks like he needs about 16 Tokyo phone books to look you in the eye. I mean, I have never seen, I mean, seriously, if that guy's any shorter, I mean, he would be in a circus. I mean, if he's one more inch shorter, that guy has to have a high chair at like Ruth Chris to have dinner. Dude, I mean, you know, his feet must dangle every time he sits in a chair. Crazy. I don't know anything about that word any longer. I've got to be kind of politically good here. Charles, I can't be talking like that anymore. So back in the day I could, today I can't. Okay? Joseph, seriously. Kevin Hart, dude, that guy has to have 18 Tokyo phone books to look anyone in the eye going, "Hey, how you doing? My name is Kevin Hart." Jesus. Don't fall in phone books. Oh, man. Now, I would agree. I would have to say one more time. I mean, I would even have to think my boy Philly 500 would think that. Man, if you've ever seen Kevin Hart in person, 18 Tokyo phone books would probably be appropriate for him to be able to look you in the eye. I mean, seriously, a couple more inches. He's got a ball in his hand, and he's at the circus. I mean, this guy's a little dude, man. A man who is becoming leaner, meaner. His team is now in the Super Bowl for the second time in 5 years. It is our friend Philly 500. He joins us now.
See this face,
man.
This is the face of a conference champion right here.
Oh my God,
man. My man.
Wow. Look at the confidence and cockiness about it, man.
I love it. I love it.
Give me your thoughts, man, on the second title in 5 years you guys are going for now. I mean, hey, dude, I've got to give it to you here, man. I mean, wasn't the greatest NFC title game, but they didn't have to because they took care of business by knocking out the quarterback. They did that. And here you are in the Super Bowl.
In the Super Bowl. I look, my thoughts on that game is we got to see old-fashioned buddy ball. We're going to physically beat you into submission. And that's what the Eagles did. They cut the snake off at the head right away. It was over. That was good old buddy ball. I have no problem with it. It wasn't like Purdy hurt himself coming out of the tunnel and twisted an ankle or something like that. That was Hassan Reddick putting damage on him. I think that's fair game, you know.
Philly, I'll say this to you, man, and I've been saying it all week, maybe even now for a couple weeks. This Hassan Reddick guy, I mean, he's a force. I mean,
he's a monster.
Dude, this guy is shot out of a gun, and it's undefensible. I can't believe how good he is. And by the way, if you're the Cowboys, and someone asked this question 4 months ago, dude, would you mean Michael Parsons? Come on, it's not even in the same conversation. I don't know about that anymore.
No, I mean, statistically, he had a better year than Parsons. He's taken his team because let's face it, he was the MVP of that game. Okay,
I think he's been the MVP, Philly, for the entire playoffs for them.
I think that's fair enough. You know, and so he stepped up. Big time players step up in a big moment. He had statistically a better year than Parsons. Why isn't he even considered for Defensive Player of the Year? I think he's better than Parsons. I think that's fair to say at this point.
I'm going to throw something at you, and you tell me if you disagree or agree. And I'm going to go first. Let me set it up by doing this. Do you think that there is still about Jalen Hurts, the quarterback, a perception about him about not being elite?
There's a perception about him, but there's a perception about just about everybody and everything on this team, from the coaching staff to Jalen Hurts, to the Eagles have an easy schedule, to the Eagles this, that. It's like no matter what they do, I feel like there's always an excuse for why they do it.
That's true. But I want you to stay with me on Jalen. I'm going to make a point here. So you do think there's a narrative when I look at Joe Burrow, I look at Herbert. They don't look at him like those guys, and this is why he was a second rounder. I'm going to tell you where I think that started, and you tell me if you agree or disagree. This started with Nick Saban, and I'm going to tell you why. Saban fired him on national television.
Mm-hmm.
He had 7,000 total yards at Alabama, was the SEC player of the game, had lost the previous year in the title game to Deshaun Watson.
Mm-hmm.
In the title game, they yank him out at halftime, put Tua in, and he never starts again at Alabama. He sees time in the SEC title game the following year, does well in it, but that's pretty much it. This began with the greatest college football coach saying he wasn't good enough to start here anymore. And that followed him and has followed him because now Saban's coming out, oh, he's been through a lot. Hey, that's great after the fact, dude. But you fired that guy. At Alabama, he had to leave, Philly. Don't you think that's where it began for him, where they've been doubting me the whole time? The only person I could think that doubted him the whole time was Saban at the beginning. Am I wrong?
I mean, you might be right. I mean, there's probably something to it. I don't know. I don't understand why he's not considered elite at this point. To me, he's 16-1 this year. I think he's proven to be elite. I do. I know he didn't have his best passing game last week, but he
did you think Rex Grossman was elite at 15-1?
No, I did not.
Okay, well, I mean, he got the Bears to the Super Bowl, so it's more about the numbers, and you've got to look at him personally. And by the way, I added up all the numbers. They're not that super far off from Mahomes in total yardage and the total touchdowns. And
Right.
I don't think it's that far off. And I'll say this to you, in the Super Bowl, I don't see the advantage. I think this game's a blowout.
Really? I think it's going to be a good game, but I'll take blowout the Eagles' way, of course.
Okay, you tell me where the advantage is. Okay, watch this. Quarterback, tight end, and head coach.
Well, you go Andy probably, right? And I guess
Right.
you could
And
say
watch this. Coach,
Andy,
tight end,
right?
and quarterback.
Okay, right. I think that's fair.
Receivers, Eagles. Line, Eagles. D-line, Eagles.
Eagles.
Linebackers, Eagles. Secondary, Eagles.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Where's the advantage?
I think the Eagles have a big advantage. I do. The only thing is I'm a Mahomes fan, so I think Mahomes will keep them in the game for a little bit. I think he will keep them in the game. But I agree. I think the Eagles. I think they're going to have a big game. Matter of fact, I think Jalen Hurts is going to have his best game as a professional in this game. I think he steps up big time. You see, because we could talk about Hurts and Rex Grossman. The difference between Hurts and Rex Grossman is Jalen Hurts carried his team a lot of weeks. He went out there offensively, moved the ball, and did great things. I never saw Rex Grossman do that. Rex Grossman managed the game.
Yeah, but Jalen didn't carry that team in the NFC title game. I mean, he had
not in the title game. No, but if you look at through the course of the season, he did.
Yeah. And he last year he was the caboose. This year he's the engine.
Yes.
Okay. So and I agree with that. I mean, if you look at all the games he played in the regular season, I don't think he played a poor game at all in any of them. The shitty Giants game at the end of the year, whatever that thing was, that's okay. And again, to go back on the NFC title game with you, it's not that he played super poorly. I mean, the 30-yard gift, if they take it away, he has 93 yards passing and 42 yards rushing. But they didn't have to do anything because Reddick wrecked the game.
Right. Well, that's the whole thing.
No, it is. It is. It's a gift. That's right.
It is because Jalen Hurts, if he had to throw more in the second half to guys like Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, I believe they would crack there. I mean,
can I tell you what he told
A.J.
Peter
Brown?
King?
Yeah.
Here, Philly. He told Peter King this. When I threw that ball in the Giants game, that 40-yard pass down the field, it was the furthest pass I had thrown since Chicago, and I thought my arm was going to fall off.
Wow.
So I don't think – see, to me, I don't think he played poorly in that NFC title game because
no, I don't either. His
talent, I think he's hurt. I think he's more hurt than people are saying.
I think there's something to that too. I actually do, because that pass to AJ Brown, he didn't miss that pass all year. Year. He just I could see that. But see, I mean, the thing with this kid is he just keeps coming, man. He's not shattered. He doesn't shake. He doesn't get rattled. We talk about everything that happened in Alabama. Clearly, this kid is mentally tough, and he's got all the intangibles. And what I liked about him is, even though he didn't have to go throw, for 300 yards, because, they knew the 49ers couldn't move the ball, he was able, especially in the second quarter, to get 2 drives for touchdowns with that offense, right? To go up 2 touchdowns. And he didn't make any mistakes, didn't turn over the ball. And to me, I love the kid. I do.
What team's better, 17 or 22?
22. But they've got to finish it. If they finish it, if this team wins, I think they're the best Eagles team I've ever seen. I think you have to put them up there. I think everybody looks at this team and says, "Oh,
and beating Mahomes and Andy."
Right, and beating Mahomes and Andy. But everybody looks at this team and they go, "Oh, well, the schedule is easy, and it's this or it's that. You're playing the Niners; they're all hurt."
Yeah,
but
but
the thing
Philly,
is they blow everybody out. They blow
Philly,
everybody
that game
out.
takes care of that. That game takes care of everything because it's a Hall of Fame coach and a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Right. But what I'm saying is that the Eagles have done all year what they're supposed to do. I mean, they've done it to the utmost degree. They beat everybody. And then if they go in and they win the Super Bowl, I think people got to stop looking at this team as, overhyped or, overrated, and start saying maybe this team's very underrated. Maybe this is one of the better teams we've seen in a long time in the National Football League because they dominated everybody.
Philly, watch this too. With Brady's retirement now, can you, outside of San Francisco, and watch this for 2023 and maybe even 2024? That's a long time in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Niners have a great roster, but it's chaos at the quarterback position. Purdy's not going to be ready for 6 months. You don't know if Trey can play. Garoppolo's out of town. I mean, there's still chaos at that position. 7 years of chaos for him. Give me another team in the NFC. Detroit? Green Bay, maybe they roll it back one more year with Rodgers. The Bucs are going to suck.
Yeah.
The Cowboys are going to get worse.
We know what they're going to do.
Hey,
Cowboys
the
choke.
Giants might get better because there's a lot of cap. My point is, if you lose a couple guys in free agency here, you're still going to be the kings of the NFC, right?
Absolutely. You have to be. I think so. I think the NFC is wide open for the Eagles to run amok next year as well. I definitely do. It'll be interesting to see what happens with guys like, they're talking about Rodgers going to the Jets. It's like, we had Favre to the Jets. Let's just get Rodgers now. So that's fine with me. Get him out of the conference. Brady's gone. Dak Prescott's a choker. And, I think the Eagles are set up really nicely.
The Rams aren't going anywhere, right?
No, they seem older, right? I know they got to be having cap problems. I know they got no draft picks. So I don't think so. Somebody will emerge, but, as a challenge. But right now, I think the Eagles are set up really nice.
I couldn't wait to throw this list at you here. I got a couple questions here for you. I got this list from Drew Rosenhaus.
Okay.
The famed agent, okay?
Yeah.
Top 50 free agents in the NFL. Here's what the contracts are going to be offered for Javon Hargrave. 3 years, $55 million, $18 million a year, 36 guaranteed. Now, there's already on the table, the Eagles have a 3-year, $51 million deal. Okay. So they're kind of in the ballpark there. Mm-hmm. You think he does this deal?
If they're that close, then I think it's done. You're not talking that much.
27.
Difference. He's 27, yeah. Yeah, I think he does. I think it gets done.
I thought these numbers were going to be higher. Watch this one. James Bradbury, 2 years because he's 29, $24 million at 12 a year, 16.5 guaranteed. I'll tell you what, it's not 18 like I thought it was going to be annually.
That's the projection?
Yeah, that's his. These are contracts. When they go out into the open market, Philly, these are what they think you're going to get if you go. Because look, when you're an agent, you got to tell your guys, this is what I think you're going to be offered, and this is what the market is for you. So James Bradbury.
I'm going to get excited now. Yes, he's coming back. You got to bring him back for that.
Okay, here's the 24th ranked free agent out of the top 100, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. 3 years, 34.5, 11.5. Remember, because he's a safety, not a corner.
Safety, right.
23 guaranteed. Here's what I do. I signed both Bradbury, Gardner, trade Slay before the draft, and draft a corner. Because I get the 17 off the book. He's 33.
Yeah. I would do pretty much everything except for I keep Slay and I still draft the corner. And I let the corner sit behind Slay and Bradbury for a year.
Maybe you move them trade deadline during the year.
Possibly. But if I can keep them together for one more year, I would do it.
TJ Edwards, 3 years, $40.5 million, 13.5 a year, 25 guaranteed.
Gone.
Here's a tough one. Isaac Seumalo, 3 years, $33 million, $11 million per year, 22 guaranteed. I'll tell you something. He has played exceptional ball the last 2 months. I'll tell you something, man. I know it's expensive. Watch this. Two tackles making $18 million. Mm-hmm. Then you would pay 11 to your right guard, and another 10 to Kelsey. I want Kelsey back next year. You're going to let a 27-year-old guy who's going to command $11 million a year and is a Pro Bowler, he's an alternate Pro Bowler. You're going to let Seumalo walk out the building at 27?
if I could keep him, I would definitely keep him. I wonder if that Jason Kelsey decision, whether he comes back, will play a part in that. Like
Good
if
call.
Kelsey retires,
Good call.
then maybe you bring Sayamalo back, right? But
Good call.
if you got to bring him back, yeah.
Yeah. How about this one? This is kind of interesting. Brandon Graham at 65, he's ranked as the top 100 free agents. 1 year, 4.5. Now the difference here is he's making 14.4 now. He's taking a $10 million pay cut, but he's 37 next year.
Right.
So 4.5 with incentives. Don't you feel good about bringing him back, double-digit sack guy?
Yeah, I think what Brandon Graham offers from just like standpoint of getting that defense going and stuff, I think you got to try to bring him back. I want Brandon Graham to come back one more year at least.
Here's a tough one too. Miles Sanders, 3 years, 22.5, 7.5 per, 14.5 guaranteed.
I think he's gone. I don't think he's going to make the cut. I would love to have him back. I don't think it's going to happen though.
You see Howie paying $7.5 million for him?
No, I don't. Especially if you kind of look at the way they've used him the last part of the season. It's almost like they almost prefer Gainwell and Boston Scott.
And
I have a feeling and Gainwell's come on. So I could see Miles going.
Kaiser White, 2 years, $8 million, $4 million per, 4.75 guaranteed. He's been balling lately.
Yeah.
$4 million.
I
don't think that's over the top, dude.
No, these numbers sound low to me, to be honest with you. Like you'd think they're going to get a lot more. I think you got to try to keep TJ Edwards or Kaiser White. One of them you got to keep, one of them you got to let walk. And then you got Nakobe Dean. You kind of let Nakobe Dean take over next year. So that's how I would do it. So one of those guys has to stay. I would lean towards Edwards probably, and I'd let White go.
Last one, Marcus Epps, 2 years, 13.5 at 6.75 per with 7.5 guaranteed. Do you think Blankenship is good enough to take his role?
So the Marsha Epps is going to get that much? No, he's gone. Gone. Forget Marsha Epps.
Epps. Okay. Okay, so you think Blankenship can take his role very easily.
Or I'm happy to do it for him. I'll come lose some weight and put me in. I'll tackle better than Marsha Epps, I'll tell you that.
Okay, lastly here. Hey, Tone, do me a favor. Show my boy Tone what was given yesterday to our dear friend and somebody that Philly 500 loves. Show him the Jerome Brown. They honored, or they had a mural that they made for Jerome it's on my Twitter page. I put it on my Twitter page too. And they were able to put this mural up, and they honored him in Brooksville. Let me see if Tone's still around here. Maybe see if we can get him. I want to show. Come on, Tone, show it to him, man.
I want to see it.
This thing is really cool.
Oh, yeah.
And there's the mural. Remembering Jerome, Wednesday, February 1, 2023. They put a mural up there, right there.
Yeah.
Hosted by the city of Brooksville. It's a piece of artwork now that they were able to honor and dedicate to Jerome yesterday.
Yeah,
there's your boy.
Beautiful. Yeah. One of my favorite all-time players.
Look at that, man. Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah.
I love it
beautiful.
too. All right, man. Hey, so
thank you.
Dude, I got to tell you, man, I'm looking forward to this myself. I really am. I'm looking forward to this. I don't see Kansas. The only way Kansas City keeps this thing close, in my opinion, is because Kelsey is going to be able to school the linebackers of the Eagles, and Mahomes keeps them in the game.
Yeah.
It's the only way I see this thing hanging in there, right?
They don't run the ball enough. I think that's going to kill the Kansas City Chiefs. And they really can't run the ball. And I think the Eagles can move. I think the Eagles will have a much easier time moving defense against their defense than, like, say, the 49ers. So you could be right. I definitely think the Eagles are going to win. I haven't figured out what the score is yet. But I mean, I'm loving where we're at. So we just have to wait for this thing, which is going to take forever. But
look at this, man. This guy Maniac thinks that, he thinks that SpaghettiOs is an Italian dish. Bro. Okay, listen, man.
What?
Philly 500's not going to eat SpaghettiOs in a bowl.
What's he talking about?
Look, he's saying raviolis in a big bowl of raviolis. Dude, you don't know any Italian food. You think Olive Garden's an Italian restaurant. It's not.
Come on, Maniac. What's up with you?
Dude, Tony Romo's is not an Italian restaurant.
Let's go, Come on, Maniac.
Hey, dude,
what's up?
We're going to catch up
Thank
Super
you.
Bowl week, man. Have a great
Absolutely.
one, man. We'll appreciate you so much. Thank you, brother.
Thank you,
hey,
man.
by the way,
Thank you.
don't
Take care.
forget
Yeah.
to check out his podcast. It's one of the top ones on all of YouTube. He does such a great job. I have people telling me all the time, when's Philly 500 coming back on? Just Google him and you'll be able to find that beautiful face.
Thank you.
Philly, appreciate it,
There
brother.
is. Thank you, my man. Peace.
You got it. That's our friend Philly 500. We're going to take a time out, hit the like button, keep it here on the National Football Show.
When it comes to the fight against insurance companies, large corporations, and the healthcare industry, injured victims are always the underdog. But that doesn't worry us. At Messa & Associates, we're an injury law firm from Philadelphia, and we come to fight. Our clients know that they've got representation with a chip on its shoulder, and it's the same chip that makes Philly the toughest city in the country. Call 215-568-3500 or visit us online at messalaw.com. Messa & Associates, the toughest injury firm in Philadelphia.
Go for the beers, go for the cheers, go for the hit and the hits, go for the scene, go for the screens, go for the gallery, go for the win, go to Ocean.
Jeff D'Ambrosio doesn't need a special event to appreciate his customers. Jeff shows his appreciation to them every day of the year. Jeff makes sure to stock more new inventory than anyone and guarantees prices and payments that nobody can beat. There are so many reasons that thousands of customers know Jeff is the easy, friendly place to do business. More for their trades, no judgment zone for credit issues, the best, most reliable service department in the country. That's why I like Jeff, and I know you will too. Jeff will satisfy you every day. Jeff D'Ambrosio, Destination Downingtown, Owner Appreciation Event.
Weather forecasting is a team game.
We rely on each other every day, updating the models and passing along new critical information.
We have a team of 5 experienced meteorologists and a specialized weather producer, Paul. Say hi, Paul.
Sometimes what I see in the model, Cecily could see something different.
That's when we come together as a team to make our most accurate prediction.
And all of this backed by more than 100 AccuWeather scientists. It's a team game.
And we have the best teams in town.
Game show with Seth Joyner.
I knew that they had a running game.
Derek Gunn.
He has put in the effort.
Devin Caney.
Had we not won the Super Bowl, what would we be saying?
And Mike Missinelli.
Well, you know who Philly is.
Post game, now streaming on the 6ABC family of apps.
Big Phil! National Football Show. Appreciate you coming aboard. Tua cleared by the Dolphins to come back next year and be the starter. I think we're all under the final analysis that Jalen Hurts is the better NFL quarterback, and Tagovailoa is what? Not reliable. He's not reliable. I can't build my team around Tagovailoa. Get this. He's probably a better passer. This guy threw like for 585 or what was the number he threw this year? Some crazy number. Now, he puts up bigger passing numbers than Jalen does. I mean, here, let me look at these numbers. He puts up bigger passing numbers, right? Tua Tagovailoa stats. 310, 300, 300, 285, 300, 382, 261, 470. I mean, he had even in lesser games had more touchdown passes, higher QBR, and just a tick under in passing yards at 35-48. And he missed a ton of games. Like 5 games, was it this year? How many games did he miss? Okay. Tagovailoa stats. Tua Tagovailoa stats. How many games did he miss this year? So Tua played. He missed 4 games. Tua may have thrown for 4,500, 4,400, and 35 or 36 touchdowns if healthy. Tua's the better passer. And his receivers are comparable. Okay? He's a better passer. Numbers dictate it. Well, like I said, Neil, he missed 4. He missed 4. And so if you put the 4 on there, you put Jalen's 4 or 2. Jalen's probably, probably at 4,000. Tua would have had 4,500 and 35 touchdowns. No, not 35 because he's at 25. You put 4, probably 2, 4, 6, 8. And probably around 33 touchdowns. He's the better passer. But he's not reliable or durable. You can build your team around Jalen. You can't build your team around Tua. The Dolphins are doing the right thing, though, by saying he's healthy and he's our guy. What are you going to say? He's not our guy? He's the 5th pick. They are doing everything in their – how about this? Let me ask you this. Eric, wow. Brian. That's one of the great – Brian, I'm going to steal that on Twitter. Tua Tagovailoa is Eric Lindros. Absolutely. Arby's, dude. Arby's. Arby's. KFC's got great desserts, though. Arby's. Okay? Arby's. You get that sauce they have in there. Man, I love Arby's. I could kill 3 of them burgers. Plus their fries, I think, are better. KFC's chicken's dope, though, dude, but they got great desserts. McDonald's has the best fries. I hate to say it, but they do. Let's see here. Sad part is Tua may not last. He's not going to. Not reliable, man. I can't build my team around him. Okay, I can't build my team around him. Hey, and guys, I want you guys to understand something. Know this. I don't want to trade Slay because of any other. Slay had a really fine year, but it's time to move off that dude at $18 million. He's not an $18 million guy. Not in the second half of the season. Okay, Bobby Clark hated that guy. I think Bobby Clark hated Eric Lindros because of the money and the star power he was. Because Lindros told those people up in Toronto to kiss his ass. Or was it Ottawa? Where wasn't it? He didn't want to play in Ottawa, or was it? Or was it Quebec? I forget. One of those. Right? I forget. It was one of those. Look at Vet. High cholesterol. Hey, Vet. Come on. Look at what show you're on. You think there's a lot of cholesterol watching on this show? Come on, Vet. Toronto. Right, Brian? Hey, Vet. This is where you and I finally have an argument here. Okay? You honestly think, Vet, this is a high cholesterol show? You think we worry about our cholesterol on this show? Come on, dog. Seals, would you tag? I'm not tagging anybody. Okay? Would you use, if you're Howie, would you use the tag on anything? I don't do fast food. I don't really either, man. I don't need a lot of fast food. When I'm on the road and I go see my daughter play rugby, I do. Tags are too expensive. They are. They're too expensive. Me and Tone were looking at the tags. Dude, they're wicked high. This show is vegan. Bro, if I ever ate the food at those vegans, man, I would be a tugboat. I'm going to leave it there because I'm sure some of you are eating right now, and I don't want to upset anybody's appetite here. But I don't know about it, man, but some of the stuff that those guys eat, I don't know, man. Looks like rabbits eat that stuff, and I don't know. I don't want to go crazy here, and they're not going to go, and I'm not going there. That's not going to work for me. Okay. God. Hey man, have you tried this guacamole salad with like kale? What's kale? It's like from the ocean. Shit, dude. Only thing I eat from the ocean are fish, lobsters, and shell food. I don't eat seaweed. Big Sills doesn't eat seaweed. Oh, this is great for you. Great. If I die 5 years younger because I didn't eat seaweed, I'm okay. Sills, I would have put 5 years on your life eating seaweed. Sills got the barbecue hook you up. I got to take a time out. Hour number 3. Guys, thank you so much, man. Let's talk about the matchups a little bit more here in Super Bowl 57. Keep it here on the National Football Show.
When it comes to the fight against insurance companies, large corporations, and the healthcare industry, injured victims are always the underdog. But that doesn't worry us. At Messa & Associates, we're an injury law firm from Philadelphia, and we come to fight. Our clients know that they've got representation with a chip on its shoulder, and it's the same chip that makes Philly the toughest city in the country. Call 215-568-3500 or visit us online at messalaw.com. Messa & Associates, the toughest injury firm in Philadelphia.
Go for the beers, go for the cheers, go for the hit and the hits, go for the scene, go for the screens, go for the gallery, go for the win, go to Ocean.
Jeff D'Ambrosio doesn't need a special event to appreciate his customers. Jeff shows his appreciation to them every day of the year. Jeff makes sure to stock more new inventory than anyone and guarantees prices and payments that nobody can beat. There are so many reasons that thousands of customers know Jeff is the easy, friendly place to do business. More for their trades. No judgment zone for credit issues. The best, most reliable service department in the country. That's why I like Jeff, and I know you will too. Jeff will satisfy you every day. Jeff D'Ambrosio, Destination Downingtown, Owner Appreciation Event.
Weather forecasting is a team game.
We rely on each other every day, updating the models and passing along new critical information.
We have a team of 5 experienced meteorologists and a specialized weather producer, Paul. Say hi, Paul.
Sometimes what I see in the model, Cecily could see something different.
That's when we come together as a team to make our most accurate prediction.
And all of this backed by more than 100 AccuWeather scientists. It's a team game.
And we have the best team in town.
Game show with Seth Joyner.
I knew that they had a running game.
Derek Gunn.
He has put in the effort.
Devin Caney.
Had we not won the Super Bowl, what would we be saying?
And Mike Missinelli.
Well, you know who Philly is.
Post game, now streaming on the 6ABC family of apps.
Big Sales National Football Show. Appreciate you guys coming aboard. Please hit the like button. Chris Jones versus Nick Bosa. Was Bosa a challenge for the Eagles to control? By the way, let's take a look at this. Who have been the top flight defensive players that the Eagles have had to play against this year? Some of those kids at Jacksonville were pretty good. They controlled them. Minnesota doesn't really have anyone special, I don't think. Detroit had Aiden Hutchinson. He had a great year. Simmons of the Titans, for sure. Jonathan Allen. Washington did a number on the Eagles in the second game. They didn't control them in the second game. They stuffed the run in the second game. Washington is the only team to beat up the Eagles' O-line in the second game. They beat them up. The interior tackles won that game. It's the only game that the Eagles lost in the O-line trenches was Washington. They have the talent, though. Washington has two of the best defensive tackles in the game. Okay? Anybody else? You don't – and I think they handled, to some extent, Nick Bosa. Can I tell you what I thought Bosa was doing too? I thought Bosa was coming in and out of the game pretending to limp because Lane was kicking his ass. And, you know, because he was playing, but how many times did he go in and out? I didn't know he was hurt going into the game. All of a sudden he got dinged up in the game. Looked to me like those like he was shot in the sky by a sniper or something. And you know what the sniper injury is? Oh, yeah, because you're getting abused. I think Lane hurt his pride, not his hamstring. And to me, you know, we all know this. Well, you could take it from Big Sills. I'm with you. You could tell when a guy's going, damn, this guy's great. I got to pretend like I'm playing hurt. And he did. Hey, Bosa made that tackle behind the line of scrimmage. NFL first ruled it a sack. Then they put it as a TFL. He did get a TFL on him. He did a nice job early in the game. But I thought pretty much they controlled him. But he had 2 tackles for losses. Okay? He had a couple tackles for loss. So, Micah Parsons, they owned. Oh, well, Jack Driscoll got in. So, this kid, Chris Jones, I think is great. I'm going to tell you something here. Chris Jones is going to line up over Kelsey and Seumalo. And I'll tell you what, Seumalo's a free agent. If he beats that guy's ass into the ground, he going to make a ton of money. And you're not going to want to let him go. What if Seumalo destroys him in this game? Are you going to let a 27-year-old kid walk out of the building because you know his value is $11 million? That might be a market steal. You better not let him. If he kills that guy, I'll tell you something, man. I thought Armstead was going to handle Seumalo. Seumalo crushed him. Crushed him. And that allowed Kelsey to get up on the scoop and slip on the backers. They were blowing those middle. Gainwell and Sanders weren't touched at times in the second half. Okay? If Isaac's, you know what his agent's telling Isaac Seumalo right now? Dude, you beat up this guy here, and after taking care of the Giants all-pro tackle, remember, he took care of the Giants all-pro tackle. So if you take care of Chris Jones, what's his name, Dexter Lawrence, and you beat up Dexter Lawrence, you're going to make $15 million a year. You're going to be the highest paid free agent offensive lineman next to the kid from, I think the kid from the Falcons is like the third or fourth. He's going to make a mint. A mint. Dude, Seumalo is playing himself into a position that's forcing Howie to make rough cuts. Listen, you got a chance to win the Super Bowl, and you're going against another elite tackle. You beat up Lawrence, man. Did you guys think Dexter Lawrence was a factor in the playoff game? He was right on him. He lined up right over him. I didn't hear a word from him. Did you guys hear anything about Dexter Lawrence? Right? He lined up right over him. Tone goes, I didn't even notice him on the field. Huge win. Money win. Free agent win. I have never seen more free agents have such amazing seasons in contract years in all of my years playing and covering this league. I've never seen Bradbury, CJ, TJ, Seumalo, Sanders, Jesus criminy, career years. You never see new faces. What's the mantra when you're building a team? You never, ever have a lot of turnover. You know why? The teams that don't have a lot of turnover are traditionally the teams that are set. I've never seen more new faces roll into a new place and win, not win, championship winning. You guys got C.J. Gardner-Johnson 9 days before the damn start of the season. He led the league in interceptions. I'm sorry I'm laughing. I'm sorry I'm laughing. I am. I'm sorry I'm laughing because right? Dude, he's going to make a ton of dough. If he beats Chris Jones, what's he got, 15 and a half sacks? You know, I love when people are going, hey, did you see that Kansas City stopped the run? And you know what the dumb pundits are doing now? Listen, so the dumb pundits would have you believe this. Hey, Kansas City did a great job stopping the run of Cincinnati. Cincinnati had 3 replacements in the old line in that AFC Championship game. They didn't even have their starters in. And you held them? Well, hey, welcome to the game. You're supposed to hold them when backups are in. I mean, to me, that was the difference in the game. Mixon couldn't get established. play action wasn't there, and Burrow had to kind of force some throws in there. I was like, well, wait a minute. So? Second team guys. There were 3 of them in the O-line. And I'm supposed to think Kansas City had a breakout game in their front 7? Not me. I don't buy that. You were going against the scrubs of the Bengals. I was like, I don't know about you, but I went like this. I don't know. I'm not impressed. I wasn't impressed with Kansas City's defense. Plus, you got 2 rookies on the corners, and you got another rookie in the secondary on safety position. Dude, okay. Hey, keep selling the game. I know you got to sell it because that's your job. Not here, man. Dude, not here. You're not selling me that. You better show me something. Now, you start talking Kelsey versus the Eagle linebackers, and Mahomes has got to move around. My question would be, can he? You don't have a running game. Dude, if Hassan Reddick and that group doesn't have to worry about the run, how do you feel about going into a – can you imagine this? So you're going to go into a fight with a guy who doesn't have a jab. And if all he does is throw haymakers, and you could duck the haymakers. That's all he has is haymakers. How you feel about your chances of winning that fight? I think pretty good. So all he has is just throwing haymakers. He'll tire himself out. I'll beat his ass. Later rounds, he's knocked out. Isn't that what Ali did to Foreman? I don't see it. That's it right there, Ernest. Eagle stop Kelsey. This thing's, I disagree. It ain't close. I don't see it. So if you don't get Kelsey going, Juju Smith-Schuster is going to beat the Eagle secondary? Pacheco? If Hurts wins, how much would you honestly pay him? Ugh. Man, I hate going there because I don't like paying these guys. How about hey, Figueroa, how about we do this? I'm going to compromise with you guys because I don't want to talk shit on the kid. Okay, all that. See what Neil just said, $50 million? 65% of your team will be whacked in the offseason if you do that. You only get $7 million under the cap, dude. With the current team you have. Where are you getting $50 million from? Where are you getting the other 43 from? Where are you getting that? You're only going to be $7 million under the cap with the projected $16 million increase in the cap. Where are you getting that from? It's like monopoly money. It ain't happening. Here. I would not pay him over 3 years. You can figure out a number after that. Is that fair? You can figure a number. We'll figure a number out after the Super Bowl. Figueroa goes, you think he'll take 35? Figueroa, the left tackle for the 49ers, Trent Williams makes $28 million. You're going to pay him left tackle money? Hey, I'm going to pay you Trent Williams money. Yeah. 5 years, $200 million. Never happened. No way. Plus, he hasn't played that well in the exhibition season. Or he hasn't played that well in the postseason. Trent Williams' salary for 2023.
According to Spitrack.com.
Yeah, right here. Here it is. Here it is. 27.1 million dollars. Lane makes 14. You can't tag Hurts. He's got another year on his contract. Can't tag him. You can't tag him. Again, I'm not, all of those ridiculous numbers, 5 years, $250 million, never happened. If you do, you'll never win. You'll annihilate your team. And all the things and all the hard work you put in evaporated. Sayamalo gone. Sanders gone. CJ gone. TJ gone. All of them. 35 per is low. You got to hope Hurts takes less money. You got to hope he wants to invest in a. Here, I'm going to give you the Brady. He needs his team, those sales. No way he does this alone. He's not. Figueroa, perfectly said and perfectly correct. I'm going to tell you what Brady did that made it so incredibly why he lasted. And wait, okay, this is why he, okay, so wait a minute. You see what Matt says? He won't take less. Well, he's not going to win like Brady then. Here's what Brady did. Brady was smart enough. See what Tone says here. 40 million versus 45 versus 50. It's all life-changing money regardless. Hurts knows he didn't get here by himself. He will be smart. Plus, you know what that does too? Here's something too. Think about this, Tone. Everyone. You have your star on your team taking less money. It becomes the Eagle way. You want to win a championship? You come to Philly. You want to go to New England with Patriots and Brady? You win a championship. It's not about getting market value at each position. It sends vibes down to the other positions too. If the quarterback's willing to take a $5 to $7 million pay cut, why wouldn't the left tackle? Why wouldn't a safety? Why wouldn't? That's why Rodgers has effed up Green Bay beyond recognition. $60 million. They couldn't even keep the top wide receiver in the league. And one of the reasons that health thing fell to shit, he saw that was a money grab by Rodgers, not a win move. But he's always been that. You see, the magic and the secret sauce to Brady was always this. Shit, Brady took less money because you know what he did? Brady reinvested in himself. Brady looked at it this way. Follow me, guys. Brady looked at it like this, okay? Because he was never the highest paid player in the league ever in his time. I think maybe until he got to Tampa. Yeah, I think they pay him like $45 million or some shit like that one year down in Tampa. They gave him a whole shitload of money at the front end, and they like backloaded everything with like super cheap money, gave him it all up front, or they front-ended the money. And as he got towards the end, he was making like $25 million this year or some shit because he took big money at the beginning. But this is what Brady did in New England. As long as you're reinvesting the $10 million that I'm not taking in a tackle, a corner. By the way, you ever notice they never invested in skilled players? They never dropped a ton of money in skilled guys except for Gronk. Name me one guy they dropped money on. Who? In Brady's entire time in New England. I mean, this guy was throwing to people from Worcester. Right? I mean, this guy's throwing from people from Worcester and Fitchburg. I mean, there were what was that guy's name? Chris Hogan? Never paid Edelman. Never paid Amendola. May have helped out Welker. That Chris Hogan guy, who's he? He played like lacrosse or some shit. Never paid AB in New England. He got his money with the Raiders, got fired, and they brought him in on a cheap deal. Then they blew his ass out after the Miami game. Shit, man. He never made big money in Tampa. He made like $3 million a year down there. Moss never got money. Moss was traded for a 6th-round pick out of Syracuse, a corner that they sent to the Raiders, and they sent his ass back, And he was making dog shit money. When Moss wanted money, they traded him. Shit, I think they traded him back to Minnesota. Chris Hogan was good? Really? Funny, when Brady left, I never heard of the kid. Chris Hogan was good. Really? What was his career after Brady left? I haven't. What? Chris Hogan was good? Okay. Chris who? Mass is not. It's not the point. It's a blueprint. If you take a boatload of, it's going to be the Philly way, dude. Man, some of the people in Philly, man, are just so sensitive. I mean, it's just crazy when you say shit and stupid shit like that. It's a benchmark. It's a copycat league. You ever hear of that? Try using that. So what you do is, if the quarterback takes less money, it's going to send shockwaves to the entire roster. And guess what Howie gets to do? Howie gets to look at Jalen Hurts and go, this is how I would present it to Jalen. I'd go to him and go, we want to be business partners with you. Which means this. Okay? This is what I want to do with you. We're going to offer you 3 years of a contract. Say it's 40. We're going to guarantee every cent of it. Do you think you could probably get 5 or 6 more million? Sure. But that 15 million will keep AJ Brown in the building. And we want to keep the team around you. Jalen, do you want us to pay you? I would present it like this. Do you want us to pay you? Or do you want us to take money from the rest of the team to pay you? It's up to you. We have parameters. We have guardrails. It's called a salary cap. This is not loving you or hating you. This is strictly business. And I would be as transparent as that and say, tell us what you want to do. We want to have a business decision with you. And by the way, when things from now on, when we're talking about the future of a particular player on the team, especially offensively, okay? Especially offensively, we want your input. We're going to make what's best decision for the organization because Howie's not going to turn anything over to anybody and give them dual ability to make a call. It's going to come down to him. This is his game. But he's going to go like this because Jeffrey Lurie's probably going to go like this. Present this to him. Jalen, we have parameters. And I know Clutch wants you to have the most money. So do we. But doesn't it make sense for us to do this? We win for the next 7 years. You make all this money. Or we pay you and you got less of a team. You have some losing seasons. And you don't maximize what made Brady made $400 million. He made $400 million. What quarterback in the NFL has made $400 million taken less? People don't report that part of this. Brady made $400 million. Could he have made probably another 50? Yeah. Neil goes, it's all gone now. It's okay. Fox will take care of it. He signed a 10-year, $375 million deal. Don't worry, Neil. He'll get it back. Okay? That's, to me, how they're going to present this. Then they'll work. See, you guys are thinking about the number. They've got to think about, see, Howie doesn't think about, Howie's already on 2025. He's already on 2025 how this team's going to look with Jalen. Okay? You can't look at Mahomes' $500 million deal. Oh, by the way, Jess. No, Jess. You know what? I asked Lee, we should get Lee Steinberg on. Lee, how'd you construct that $500 million deal? Lee's a dear. I go to a Super Bowl, or I'm invited to a Super Bowl party every year. And how'd you construct that deal? We gave the Chiefs every off-ramp they could. Anyway, we gave them the ability to restructure incentives, signing bonuses, roster bonuses, workout bonuses, everything. We gave, because we're so confident that Mahomes is going to hit all of his incentives, and so are the Chiefs. The Chiefs go like this, man, we'll just give him $10 million on the roster bonus. He's going to be here. He's not going anywhere. So they give it to him because you know why? As this contract continues, look at the equity that Mahomes builds up. Mahomes has built up this equity with his performance, his durability. So you feel cool going, well, I'm not going to sit here and have this on my cap when I could just give it to him and have that off the cap. That's the kind of relationship. Mahomes has built the same relationship in Kansas City with Clark Hunt that Brady built in New England with Kraft. And you see guys like Mask who sit there and go, 50 million, 5 years. You build that relationship, you'll lose. You want to have the relationship that Mahomes has with Clark Hunt and Brady had. It's funny. He goes, that's old time. Why? Mahomes is doing it. It's not old school thinking. Mahomes did it. Steinberg told me. I'm going to get his ass on. Steinberg has the same relationship with Mahomes and Clark Hunt that Brady had with Don Yee and also with Bob Kraft. That whole thing has to work. And the way it started, get this. How about this? That's right. Relationship first, then you can figure out the details. Cody, boom! Patriot. Here's something I tell people all the time when you're getting into broadcasting or anything else. You ready for this? Don't be a start gate guy. Be a finish line guy. Don't worry about the start gate, because if you grab the money at the start gate, there'll be no money at the finish line. It'll be less. It always is, right? Sills, what would your career be like? You played Philly with JB and Reggie. The coaching they had, you wouldn't have had a president 20, 30 years later coming out saying, we destroyed your career. Fly. President of the Falcons, who was a GM of the Bucks at the time, admitted screwing my career up. That's what it would have been. See, guys, worry about the details of the contract after you work on the relationship and the parameters of how you're going to make this relationship work. Lee said this. Here, you guys remember, what was it? What was the year that the Chiefs lost the Super Bowl to the Bucks? Was that 20? Okay, was that 20? What year was it that they lost to the Bucks? What was the year? '21. Okay. Remember what they did? They gutted the entire old line, brought in Orlando Brown. From Baltimore. Okay? Gutted it. Couldn't afford all them guys. And Mahomes signs a contract, I think it was in January. He restructured his contract 2 months later for him so they could get Brown in the building. They kept doing that the whole time. See, Kyler Murray, he's too much of an idiot. By the way, personally, you want to hear this? I think Shane Steichen's getting that job. I think Shane Steichen's the only guy that could save Kyler Murray, because he'll build the same kind of offense in Philadelphia and Arizona. If you bring a traditional offensive coordinator as head coach into that Arizona Cardinal, you'll never save you'll never save Kyler Murray. And you're not going to get him back until October of next year. Okay? You're not going to get him back. He's the only guy that can construct an offense that's kind of like a schoolyard. But get this. I look at Kyler Murray. You think Kyler Murray is as smart as Jalen Hurts? If I was Kyler Murray, I would call Jalen Hurts in the offseason, and I'd say, let's work out together. Let me pick your brain. Let me see what you did. Let me see how you worked it. And if Shane is my coach, help me out because they'll be pretty much running the same shit in Philly next year. Let me work. Those two guys should work out. They're both OU guys. They should have no problem with that. They should work out he should beg to work out with Jalen. And hopefully some of the good vibe rubs off on him because he's got a lot of work, Kyler Murray. He's got a lot of ability, but he's got a ton of work ahead of him. Ton of work. And if they end up losing DeAndre Hopkins, he's got even more responsibility. Okay? Hey, Jalen's going to be maybe, I remember, hey, I know some of you media guys who watch the show in Philly hate when I said that Jalen was working out with Tom House and that all my friends saw him at T. Mussolini's restaurant. And I said, hey, he's working out with Tom House. I was the first guy to report that he was working out with Brady's coach. And everyone's like, no, he's not. He's not out there. It came out he was. My friend saw him at T. Mussolini's. And T. Mussolini's a friend of mine. He owns a restaurant. And my wife and I have been there. My wife loves T. Mussolini. And he was at T. Mussolini's. Tone goes, you sure were the first. I remember that. I reported that Jalen was working out with Tom House. Of course, Mascot's probably the 50th guy to you, but it's all good. Hey, I'm sure Philly guys are all over Southern California and La Jolla. Oh, probably right on it. Let me guess. Who? Tolentino probably. No. Paulie Shore was probably right on it. Hey, Yale goes 50 goal scorer. Hey, Yale, you might want to take a look at T. Mussolini's first year. Hey, hey, Yale. Okay, he was in Winnipeg. His rookie year. You tell me what the rookie record in the NHL is, and you do me a favor, look it up. Okay? T. Mussolini's rookie year with the Winnipeg Jets, how many goals did he score? I think you'll get a kick out of it. I was like, what? He never got close to it again. EQ and Sills, your passion lately leads me to believe you are now an Eagle fan. Your passion about the game mixed with us. Perfect match. Hey, EQ, how many people do you know in Philly that piss you off that you're best friends? Okay? We still hang out. Razor 76. He had 76 goals his rookie year at Winnipeg. $76 goals his rookie season. Josh Allen signed a 6-year, $258 million contract with Buffalo. Don't look at his contract. Okay? Average salary of $43 million. Okay, that sounds 43. Jalen? By the way, I hate to do this to you guys. I predicted he's going under the knife with a rotator cuff surgery. They're going to use that against him to bring that number down. Be second year in a row he's had surgery. Okay? The reason I bring that up is because it's going to be brought up. It's not wishful thinking. And please, do me a favor, the ones that are smart. By the way, thank you very much for the 20. That's really spectacular of you. Please always know this. I would never root for anybody to be hurt. Why would I ever want to hurt or wish for Jalen to get hurt? He's a polarizing story now. He's great for my show. You think I want to cover Gardner Minshew? Okay. Oh, Brett Hall was, or Bobby Hall was spectacular. I'm friends with Phil Esposito. Obviously, I worked in Tampa 15 years, and Phil and Tony brought Bobby in numerous times, and I got a chance. I'm sitting in a room with Bobby Hull, Bobby Orr, Phil Esposito, and Tony Esposito. And what was the captain of the Lightning when they won their first cup? Guy from Buffalo Sabres. God. Oh, I forget his name. Shit. God, I hate when I forget a name like that. Captain of the Bolts, the first cup, when they had Lecavier and St. Louis. Kills me, man. He was the captain. He played the blue line. Or he was the center. Nah, Stamkos was after. I was there when Stamkos was drafted. I was also there when Lecavier got drafted. Sales is Will Anderson worth trading up for? I think you need a corner. Oh, God, I hate that. It'll drive me nuts. Oh, that'll drive me nuts. Captain of the Lightning, their first cup. I hate when I forget a name. Nah, Lecavier was he was the first 50 goal scorer there. You know, it's funny. The year they won the cup, the first cup, the guy who was the superstar, the MVP, and the Art Ross winner, it was St. Louis. Keith Anderchuk or Dave Anderchuk. Thank you, Ryan. Ah! Oh, I love Dave Anderchuk. Way to go, Ryan. Dave Anderchuk. That's right. That's right. So back to what we were saying. The relationship is, do we agree? The numbers, man, we can fill the numbers in. But what you want to do is build on the relationship. Let's take a time out. Please hit the like button. I want to hit on Tom Brady for a second. I want to get you guys' thoughts on this. I want to throw this at you. Can you tell me a Tom Brady moment you remember? Can you? Can you remember a Tom Brady moment? Like a walk-off moment? Hit the like button. Keep it here on the National Football Show.
When it comes to the fight against insurance companies, large corporations, and the healthcare industry, injured victims are always the underdog. But that doesn't worry us. At Messa & Associates, we're an injury law firm from Philadelphia, and we come to fight. Our clients know that they've got representation with a chip on its shoulder, and it's the same chip that makes Philly the toughest city in the country. Call 215-568-3500 or visit us online at messalaw.com. Messa & Associates, the toughest injury firm in Philadelphia.
Go for the beers, go for the cheers, go for the hit and the hits, go for the scene, go for the screens, go for the gallery, go for the win, go to Ocean.
Jeff D'Ambrosio doesn't need a special event to appreciate his customers. Jeff shows his appreciation to them every day of the year. Jeff makes sure to stock more new inventory than anyone and guarantees prices and payments that nobody can beat. There are so many reasons that thousands of customers know Jeff is the easy, friendly place to do business. More for their trades. No judgment zone for credit issues. The best, most reliable service department in the country. That's why I like Jeff, and I know you will too. Jeff will satisfy you every day. Jeff D'Ambrosio, Destination Downingtown, Owner Appreciation Event.
Weather forecasting is a team game.
We rely on each other every day, updating the models and passing along new critical information.
We have a team of 5 experienced meteorologists and a specialized weather producer, Paul. Say hi, Paul.
Sometimes what I see in the model, Cecily could see something different.
That's when we come together as a team to make our most accurate prediction.
And all of this backed by more than 100 AccuWeather scientists. It's a team game.
And we have the best team in town.
with Seth Joyner,
I knew that they had a running game.
Derek Gunn,
He has put in the effort.
Devin Caney,
Had we not won the Super Bowl, what would we be saying?
and Mike Missinelli.
Well, you know who Philly is.
Postgame, now streaming on the 6ABC family of apps.
Big Stump National Football Show. Name me 3 quarterbacks you would want to win a Super Bowl. 3 best quarterbacks in NFL history that are Super Bowl quarterbacks. Who would they be? You had to win 1 game. I'm going to write my 3 down. Three QBs ever. Let me think. I got 2. Three QBs. The 3 greatest Super Bowl quarterbacks. I wouldn't put Peyton Manning on my list. I wouldn't put Brett Favre on my list. I wouldn't put Troy Aikman on my list. Who would be after Brady and Montana? Elway? Bart Starr. Sorry, too young for that. Maybe. No disrespect, 2 wins. Plunkett, 2 wins. No disrespect. Eli, 2 wins. No disrespect. Peyton, sorry. His postseason numbers never added up to his regular season numbers. Was never really great in the Super Bowls. Elway did. I think Elway is 2-3 in Super Bowls. Those shitty Bronco teams early with Reeves weren't very good. Stabler won 1. Sims won 1, really, and a half. Who would Mahomes, if he wins his second Super Bowl on Super Bowl Sunday, would you put him in that top 3? Look, it's Brady and Montana. It's Brady and Montana. Okay? Would you put Mahomes in there? Mike, I don't think they are either. I'm just saying, if he wins, would you put Mahomes 3rd? This will be his 3rd Super Bowl. In how many years? 4? We're not talking about going to NFC Championship games. We're talking about going to the Super Bowl 3 of the last 4 years. Gravy, Aikman, I know 3 wins. Hard to pass on that. I don't think there's – I think what? Isn't it this? The quarterbacks with 3 or more wins is Aikman, Bradshaw, Montana, and Brady. I think those 4 are 3 and up. Okay. Troy knew how to win games. I'll tell you what, if Mahomes wins this, man, you could put a case that he's in the Super Bowl era, man. I mean, right? I'd probably put Elway there now. Dan, no to Mahomes. He hasn't played well in either Super Bowl. Yeah, the game they beat the 49ers, he had a good half. You're right, Marky. He had a good half. Okay, fair enough. So either Aikman or Elway. But if I had to have a 60-minute Super Bowl win, Aikman and Elway, and the teams were even, I'm taking John Elway. Troy Aikman is not the talent John Elway was. He's not the talent. Bradshaw's 4-0. Bradshaw called his own plays. But when you look at Bradshaw, Staubach too, man, I forgot about Roger. He won 2. But Roger always lost to Bradshaw. Always lost to Bradshaw. Make sure Terrell Davis is right there. Without way, if that's your guy. What are you saying? Okay. I never thought about it, but the third guy's the toughest guy. It's Brady in Montana. There's no getting around it. There's no getting around it. 60 minutes of football, though, ahead of win. Montana, Young, Brady. See, Bradshaw, man. But Bradshaw played with Stallworth, Swan, Franco, Webster, and then that Hall of Fame defense and Hall of Fame coach. I mean, Chuck Noll drafted all them guys, too. See, to me, I think Chuck Noll is the greatest coach of all time. I know some people will probably go, Sills, well, how many Hall of Famers is Bill Belichick drafted? He didn't draft Lawrence Taylor. He didn't draft Phil Simms. He didn't draft Carl Banks. He didn't draft any of them guys. Everyone always goes, well, Parcells and Belichick. No. Ray Perkins drafted Lawrence Taylor. Guy who drafted me. Okay, Parcells didn't even hire Belichick. Belichick was already on the Giant coaching staff. Ray Perkins hired Belichick. See how the media changes the history? People don't know the history. Oh, well, he was always with Parcells. No, that's not true. Parcells was hired by Ray. Yeah, huh? All right, let me move on to this. And it kind of goes into it a little bit. Name me one Tom Brady moment. I'll wait. Like, here's my examples. Elway. The drive. Montana. The catch. The Atlanta Super Bowl comeback. Do you remember any play in there? Like a walk-off play? MJ. Watch this. If I ever just did this in a bar and said, what is this? It's Jordan in Utah in Game 6. MJ, Game 6. The baby skyhook. With Magic in the Lane in Boston. Or 2 goals flying through the air to win the Stanley Cup against St. Louis. The helmet catch? David Tyree and Eli? Okay. Sean goes, Tom Brady's moment was 20 years of dominance. Okay. Watch this. Nick Foles. Let's run the Philly special. Dude, that's a walk-off. MFing walk-off. Dude, the Nick Foles Philly specials, the greatest walk-off moment, because it's against that guy, in NFL history. Edelman catch, people, some go like, because USA Today came up with this, the tuck game. Is that a moment? Vinatieri kicking the game-winning, is that a Brady moment? Tom Brady's never really had a moment. The catch. Watch this. I don't have to tell you guys. The catch. The drive. I don't have to tell you guys that. Elway, the helicopter, going into the end zone. His last play as an NFL player is the helicopter play. And then he comes out 2 months later and goes, I physically can't do it anymore. I want to do it, but I can't. I can't do it. Elway's last game was the helicopter game. What's Brady's moment? And it's probably what our friend said. It's 20 years of dominance. It's 20 years of dominance. Dude, like, even James Harrison had a moment in the Super Bowl with that interception against the Cardinals. He takes it back 1 billion yards, right? Brady's like Tim Duncan. Oh, Brady's like Tim Duncan. Not a lot of iconic moments, but everyone recognizes him as a stone-cold killer. They both were dominant for 2 decades. Hey, Marky, so you're saying that Tom Brady is Mr. Fundamental off the glass. That's a great one. That's a great comparison. You are exactly right. Brady off the glass. Brady is the big fundamental. There is no moment. There is no moment. Brady's Duncan. But I'll tell you something about Brady that made him different than Duncan. Brady's the most hated player in the history of the league and the most loved player in the league. That's polarizing. He's got a little Trump in him without being an asshole. He does. He's got a smile. Trump's got a scowl. Half the country loves Trump. Half the country hates Trump. There's a factor on what makes you polarizing. That's exactly it. That's exactly it. I'm not saying he's anything personality-wise like him. That's not my comparison. I'm talking about half the country roots against Brady, half the country loves Brady. Same with Trump. The 5-star. See? Okay. I'm abstaining from this because my daughter watches this. Please don't get me in any more trouble. I can't get in any trouble with that. You don't know the apologizing. Please just leave me alone with that. I should never have brought that name up. Yeah. Look at Steven. Brady's a you know what, but I respect it. See, that's what I'm trying to say. Trump who? Hey, I've been to Trump Tower. That's it. That's all I know. I'm stopping. Brady is a villain and a hero. He's a villain and a hero. And you know what happens? When the hero stays too long, you become a villain and you get villainized. Brady sees the writing on the wall. It's time to go. I think last season wore his ass completely out mentally and spiritually. You lose your wife, you lose your family, you're a part-time dad. All the things he said he wouldn't be, he turned out to be. See, when he goes home now, there's no family there. All the things he had done in his life and all the great accomplishments, he goes to an empty house. Was it worth it? We'll find out in years to come. Kobe ended up making me look like a stupid human being. Man, Kobe turned out to be the greatest father on the planet. Dude, I swear to you, I text my daughter because of Kobe Bryant every day. I love you, honey. Because you're not promised tomorrow. Okay? I swear to you, Kobe Bryant makes me a better dad every day. Okay? God, I would love to. I'm telling you, Gigi probably be in the WNBA, and she'd probably be killing it. And here's dad sitting there rooting her on. If he wouldn't have left 1 year sooner, he would still have his family. It's a shame, honestly. Yeah, because you have to ask, was it worth the price? We'll see. Hey, you guys were awesome, man. Road to Glendale, Super Bowl 57. Xander, thank you. Tone, you are spectacular as always. Your input is so tremendous, and all of you. As we get closer to Super Bowl 57, Chiefs and Eagles, this is going to be an iconic football game, I believe. I think the Eagles, you play your game, you're there. We'll see what happens. I buried the lead already. Catch you tomorrow on a Friday. God bless all of you. We'll see you 3 to 6 Eastern tomorrow, and we'll catch you on the flip side.